Hello and welcome once again to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, the Let's Try program here on the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. As always, and boy is it great to be back. I'm Ian, and joining me once again is Ben.
Hey everybody.
Hey, we're back, and we're working back again on this beast.
Yeah, this lovely nightmarish mess of wiring that I pulled out.
This is nice and compact. This is all good, understandable. This is where we're going to be working today, mostly.
Yes. Since last time I was around, for everybody that remembers, we managed to get the Naomi 2 to boot successfully. Now we're going to get one of the controls wired up and working.
We're looking at kind of a three-stage process here to get this thing up and running 100%. We've got it booting. We need to get the sticks in order.
It would be great if we had a controller that was not me touching a ground to another thing to play a fighting game.
And then we'll need to wire in a Dreamcast connection.
Yeah.
And then step 4 is probably...
Oh, well, I guess that's right. I wasn't thinking about the Dreamcast connection. That I figured we would do for the keyboard part. Do you have that extension?
I don't have it here.
Okay.
But I don't know if we're going to get to that today.
We probably aren't. But the main one is that we're looking at today is rewiring this stick to the JAMA standard with the Capcom kick harness.
Right.
And so that will allow us to actually boot this up and play with this. And then we will have to duplicate it with the other stick. And then we'll have the controls for most normal arcade games. And then after that, then it will be the keyboard.
Then the keyboard. Right. And the other thing I'd like to actually do is work at using a Raspberry Pi to load to load ROMs.
Oh, right. That's a good point because of the network. Yeah.
But that'll be, again, another thing for another day.
Right. So this is where we're starting. And for me, the first thing I need to do is actually pull all of these wires because I don't want to damage the way that this is wired up. I just want to remove everything from how this normally works and set it aside while we do this and configure it for just strictly arcade.
Are we doing anything? These are just off-the-shelf sticks, right?
Yeah, so the sticks and the buttons are Sanwa parts. And that's kind of one of the things that's great about these and the Mad Catz, rest in peace, sticks is that they used Japanese arcade sticks, or arcade components. Actually, speaking of, while I'm thinking about this.
So these are literally off the shelf.
Yeah, so they're easily replaceable, and that's one of the best things about it, is they're not proprietary, they're not anything weird like that, but what I am going to do is, I don't think I need this for it, is I'm going to pop off the restrictor plate while I'm thinking about it, because the one thing is they all come with what are basically 4-way restrictor plates. And there's nothing wrong with that. Oops, I gotta get you out of there, buddy, come on.
It's, just a preference, but as you were saying before the show, some people's preferences are wrong.
Correct. When it comes to this, anyway, because the difference here is you're dealing with a restrictor plate that pushes your stick into kind of the 4 corners, like it moves smooth across stuff.
Or a rounded square. I mean, if we can get the, we've got the camera.
I'm trying to actually pop it off, but I forgot that I have to sort of get them off of the sides simultaneously. Yeah.
If you want to use a screwdriver as a pry bar, that could
also that's probably the smart move, but let's see. I will just pop it slightly back on.
Ooh, wait, we actually have spudders too.
That might be.
Well, that's done.
All right. So let's see. So yeah, you can see.
So that's what makes it really weird.
Right, is so you just go into the little, you go here and they will just slide into the corner. So instead of that.
Before you get that on there, I just want to show this off to the camera here and the folks at home. What we see here inside the joystick, and this is standard for all arcade joysticks, these are just micro switches attached to a board in a plus configuration that this stick just pushes against.
Yeah, so
nothing special is going on here.
Yeah, they're literally just 4 cherry switches. In the case of most Japanese joysticks, instead of them having individual wires running off of them like you would in on like an American-made stick or North American design stick, you have them put on this. I can just take it off and show you. You have them on this little simple circuit board, and then they go to a simple controller that just has the four buttons and then a ground that goes to all
That
of
was
them.
a
In fact,
dead simple design.
oh yeah, yeah. It's the most basic thing in the world, and I love it. But yeah, so and they're just lovely little sticks.
I'm just curious as to who makes those.
I already
'Cause I didn't know that Cherry made switches that in that configuration.
that went like that. Yeah. Oh, they're identical. I don't know why.
Take
I
that,
was worried
Honeywell.
about- So now I will just line this up and make sure that this is actually on, and then pop it into place. And actually, what's really nice is if you want to look at this again, there are these little nubbins on the plate here. If I turn them like that, you can see them, that just go right into the screw holes on all of the Cherry switches. So it's a nice, it's a nice little simple design. Plop.
For those of you asking in the chat as well about the difference in the set,
Much better.
oh, there we go.
Yeah, because it has that kind of ribble. Basically, it pushes your stick into the 8 directions, which is what I prefer.
So
Yeah,
the normal square one makes it more difficult to go straight up and down.
Well,
Or
what
more
happens is
difficult.
when you push up, like if you're at any kind of an angle when you're working the stick, like your inclination is to slide it towards one of those corners, because that's where it stops moving. Technically,
right.
when you push up, it stops moving, but you can very easily roll it into a corner. And I just prefer to have those where you can have the tactile sense of all 8 directions.
Because it's a digital switch.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
matters
that
where
seems
you're
like a
pushing.
no-brainer.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just every arcade stick I have bought that is like this, whether it is Razor or Mad Catz or anything else, they've all come with the 4-way plates instead of the 8-way plate.
So
Now
just
you
for-
said your pliers are over here?
Yes. Just for curiosity's sake, what does one of those plates run?
Honestly, I would have to go back and look. I know I ordered them off of Amazon, which is to say I paid more than I should have. But they're not expensive. They're like a couple of bucks. I think they're easily under $10.
yeah, we're
It's a
looking at
little piece of plastic.
single
Right.
digits versus.
Yeah, they're
that's-
generally single digits, and if you're buying them from a actual supplier, they're far less. It's just,
Then you have to have a relationship with the supplier.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's an account. I mean, you still have controls technically still exists. They're just owned by a different company now, and you can still order from them as a consumer. You don't have to have. Where are your You don't have to have a fancy, like you don't have to order in massive bulk. You just get a discount for doing so.
Sounds good.
Sorry,
No, I was
didn't mean to
going to mention to the chat people who were asking about the TTSF change in angle from. This is the AFK set, but this, when you look at it this way, is the TTSF set. You can tell because there's a large cabinet within which we keep our tools. So while you're yanking those off, and those are again just nothing in here is connected permanently. It looks like even the.
God, I hate doing that. I mean,
Oh, it's not connected now, that's for sure.
right. Well, I mean, that's the thing is like they're definitely on here very snug, which is great. And these are the Japanese, like smaller, all of their buttons they generally put on the smaller quick disconnects. It's like 182 versus 166, I think. And then like this one is, I'll just hold that there.
Until we can get
Yeah.
right in there.
Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Great, everybody gets to see my nails. Don't look at my horrible nail bits. But so these are significantly larger than these. You can, let me actually get the, well, let me not, nope, that's really on there. Sorry, give me one moment here. Nope. No, it's just stuck. I've got other smaller ones I think that will slip off easier. Yeah, there we go. All right, so for comparison, if you want to.
Oh, that's a fairly significant difference in.
Yeah, you can see how this little silver one is, like almost half the size of
Those little shovel blades.
the other one. Yeah. So, anyway.
But the wire going through it is the same, or is it just a?
Yeah, I mean it's just wire. It doesn't.
Stranded wire.
Yeah, it's basically just for an on-off signal. So you really can use these on the Japanese ones. It just the fit's a little weirder, and generally it's better to use these. But if you can't, you can get away with it. More often than not, what I wind up doing is taking the larger one and crimping it before I slide it on so that it maintains contact pressure.
Speaking of which, that's going to be the project I'll be working on, at least to start here.
Oh.
One of the things we need for this new studio is a lot of new cabling,
Oh yeah.
which means that instead of just buying lengths of cable, I thought it would be prudent for us to try making our own SDI cables.
Ooh, that's a lot of cable,
So that's,
Ian.
yeah, that's going to be, that's 500 feet, turns out. And this is, how many of these ends did we order, Paul?
50.
Perfect, so 25 cables worth. So what I'm going to do here is attempt to put together a 10-foot cable for our use.
I'm just imagining a scenario that you end up with like an odd number of ends. It's like we want to make a 3-way cable.
Ooh, splicing in cable. That sounds like a bad idea.
That seems dangerous.
Ben, could you
Yes.
hand me from inside that tool chest the tape measure? Thank you. Let's finish our thoughts before we make words from them.
There you
Thank
are.
you. All right. Thanks, Beach.
Gosh, these just are really very stubborn. Okay, listen.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if there's some way I can actually end up lighting the moon base on fire via the crimping of this.
Maybe don't do that.
Unless you crimp it like really, really tightly to the point where you're creating some sort of fusion reaction.
Oh boy.
I think we're okay.
Probably fairly safe. Okay. So let's go with 10 feet and just a little bit of change, maybe a couple inches on each side. Just because we certainly do have a lot of slack to play with. I'm hoping. Or did we order exactly the right amount of cable, Paul?
No. This was the smallest actual amount of cable that we could order.
This was the smallest cable roll I could have purchased.
Yeah. Most cable rolls are in rolls of 1,000 feet,
Oh.
which seemed a little ambitious.
And how many feet is this?
500.
I mean,
Oh,
if we wanted
well.
to wire the entire moon base for SDI to every room, I mean, what we could do is we
And
could
a
have,
kind of spider web config, like every room connected to every other room.
yeah, in sort of like a net configuration
Yeah,
or
yeah.
ring configuration, I think is what we really want here.
You're a monster.
And the network technicians in the room.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I
mean-
guess that does kind of give away what I used to do for a living, huh?
To be honest, I do miss the good old days of BNC Ethernet.
Yeah, good God.
Not for steel. There's a lot we can do with this.
There's a lot of things that aren't steel.
I know.
It
the
sounds
worst.
bad, but it's...
Like they're fine, but it just I hate that it takes this much force. See, and some of them don't, and that arguably makes me even angrier.
Okay, well, I know that this side is a cutter.
Ian, I'm going to warn you right now, in. I cannot see anything you're doing.
That's okay. I'm just going to actually cut this and then be moving that cable or that spool.
I'm going to just focus on Ben.
Oh, good. Everybody gets to watch me struggle with these things and try not to break them. I mean, yeah.
Are they identical, like, are they marked? Like the yellow's marked like yellow, black?
Oh, yeah, actually, so if you want to push in on this little thing here,
Oh, up there?
up here, yeah.
Oh, hey.
So they have actually everything labeled out.
Which is weird for something you maybe wouldn't go inside.
No, this one's made for, so this is intended to be moddable, and trust me, you don't have to worry about this fight stick because we're keeping all of these bits. It's still going to be functional. They're made, let me move the screws out so they don't just all fall in some nook. But so they are made, this one in particular is made where these are all screw holes. Like the kind of honeycomb design is so that you can completely customize the stick.
You can tell it's meant to
So.
be opened with the like piston on the
Yeah.
side there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got like the push button. Yeah, and actually the nicer like tournament edition sticks that Mad Catz made were the same way, where they were meant to be opened. And actually this one is much like that one. The cabling is removable. So like this one, it just plugs in. The Mad Catz, it actually has a screw lock. So you plug it in and then twist it to secure it. And then you'd have your like 10-foot cable for it. So trust me, it will still be functional as a fight stick. It's just that right now it's easier for me to clear this stuff out of the way to worry about getting it hooked up to the Naomi. And also, ideally, once it's hooked up to the Naomi, there are all of the Naomi era fighting games that it will work with.
Why
And,
would you possibly want to do anything else with it?
well, I mean, I guess Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity, which is fair, like, but, you know, it's not the only fight stick around here. That's all I'm saying.
But are each of those cables like labeled like there's a yellow, but there's a yellow black to show you which one's like
Well, no, you just,
under,
in this case, it doesn't matter.
so short?
You just, no. It's both of the yellow go on here. It doesn't matter which one goes on which connector for this. For the arcade, it
Because it's just a switch.
also generally doesn't matter on these. Like on US ones, especially the cherry switches that would be in a button, because the US button or North American button, sorry about that, is usually longer, and then you would kind of pop the cherry switch in, or like the competition buttons from HAP, the cherry switch would be in the shaft of the button, and then secured with a single screw in the back. But they have 3 contact blades instead of 2, and those, if you connected to the wrong ones, then it was always on, instead of push the button to make the connection. So, but it doesn't really matter on these, which is why they just have one color type for the two cables that go to each button.
I saw somebody mention in the chat, and we should say this is the last day to get your bits in for the hashtag charity thing. So if you
That's a real good point.
if you throw any bits in today, I believe today, is it to the 19th it ends, or to the 18th it ends? I don't know.
Actually.
But if you do any bits tonight, which you should, if you put hashtag charity as part of your message, you can have other stuff in there, but add hashtag charity in there, and Twitch will do 20% to Extra Life, which is a great charity.
Yeah, this little circuit board is very interesting, because there's, I'll get this out in a second. But Ian, see how there's like a second connector like this
Oh yeah,
that goes to the buttons.
but it's very hot glued in there too.
Oh yeah, I mean they do that with everything, which is good because it means it doesn't shake loose in shipping or anything. But really irritating when you're trying to take all the wiring out. Sorry, I have concealed what I'm doing over here.
No.
It's weird you're talking about Mad Cats. Like, my perception as a consumer is that Mad Cats was always like, you know, the crappy $5 cheaper controller
Oh, they
instead of the official one, right?
yeah, they totally were, but like
But this idea that they also had this kind of high end market
yeah.
is kind of a new idea to me.
Well, but I think that their high-end market was mostly the fight sticks because they sort of recognized that there was, you know, I mean, that there was a call for them with fighting game enthusiasts, and really kind of made, because they still made like, you know, the little fight pads, and then they made like really wretched smaller fight sticks. You know, that I'm sure were from the same sort of in-house places that they would, you know, get their knockoff stuff made from, or their cheap controllers made from. But they just had, you know, these all-out, you know, tournament sticks, and I don't know how much of it is from like being able to get a stick with good parts in it right out of the bat, and how much of it was the fact that they would also make sticks where you could change out the artwork under the layout, and also where they made sticks that were like special edition sticks, where like the art on it was different and the colors of everything, you know, like the stick ball and the buttons were all different based on like what game was releasing. And also, honestly, they're not cheap. Like the tournament sticks were 200 to I think 230 or 250 US, or somewhere in that range. So, and they mostly kept their value. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer to see them go out, because they did a good job of establishing those things, and I don't remember who was making good quality arcade sticks before they started doing that. Someone in chat probably remembers, but I don't. I mean, I mostly like the fight sticks that I remember prior to that were fight sticks like the ones you could get from the company that made the Super Gun, or that were Super Gun-like things, which are basically just conversion kits for JAMA boards to be used on televisions. And they would just take arcade parts and put them into, you know, this framework. Oh, hey, there we go.
JAMA.
Yeah, JAMA. It's this wiring standard. So this blade here on this is a JAMA blade. Like this is a JAMA connector right here that you can see there. And oh hey, I apparently nicked myself on something. And this is actually a converter that converts the output from the Naomi board into the JAMA standard. So like on this backside, you'd have like video would go in. The USB is actually where all of the input would read in, and then this board would convert that and output it to a JAMA standard, and then the Capcom kick harness, and then, you know, audio pass-through and all that. We don't actually use this the way that we're doing this for anything other than input, but yeah, in an arcade it meant that you could put the Naomi into a standard JAMA system without a lot of fuss.
Yeah, the chat feels that Mad Cats was actually, if not the first, one of the first. And because before it was, yeah, you're saying, it was just using the real hardware with little adapters.
Yeah. Well, like that was
Well, not little adapters, I guess.
right. Well, that's the thing that I remember.
Freaking huge adapters.
Right. Well, that's the thing that I remember doing when I wanted a Dreamcast stick. Was like there were boutique companies like, oh, I don't know if they were actually called X Arcade, or if that's just the object that they made. But But so the X Arcade, the idea was you would buy a single stick or like a dual stick or their dual stick that also had a trackball. And then they had different connectors for it that you could connect to your consoles. And so they trucked in that, but they also were pretty highly priced for what they were, because at the end of the day, most of what they were was standard arcade parts you could buy for cheaper. A lot of MDF cut into, the right shape for a control panel. And then like a little circuit board to convert all the signals to whatever it needed to be. But you also can just crack open a controller and just solder the wires to the points on the controller circuit board and do that to make a like arcade.
Yeah, I guess it's quite simple at the,
It's really like the most challenging thing I remember at the time that I was fiddling with that was dealing with Dreamcast controllers, and that was mostly because they had the analog triggers, unless you got like digital, like a little like fighting pad that had everything where it was just digital buttons, until I realized that you could just solder onto one of the points on the board for it and it would work. Because like the actual triggers had magnets in them. And that was how they were doing like the measuring, but there were points on the board that you could use to essentially do a hard on, hard off for those. I just didn't know them at the time when I was working on it. All right, so that's.
There we go.
Oh, buddy.
Everything okay there, Ian?
Just fine. I'm just trying to figure out what type of cable this is.
RG6.
Sorry?
RG6.
RG6.
Should be.
It should be RG6, yeah.
Okay, and then that's what we want.
Well, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yep, we want that the other side up.
Come on, you. There we go. Thank you.
As a side note, I love cable, the wonderful world of cable labeling standards, because SDI cable comes in two major forms, which there's like the main one, which is the RG6, and then there's a thinner version that doesn't have quite as much shielding on it, but it's thinner, so some people like it better.
Oh boy.
And so, of course, that one is RG59, which
Good Lord.
I'm assuming it was supposed to be RG5.9, and then somehow they missed out, or the decimal place somewhere, or the font didn't have a decimal place.
Oh my.
So yeah, RG59 or RG6,
There we go.
Whoops.
with 59 being the smaller one.
Now we got it.
Wasn't RG59 like that's what you would buy for coaxial cable just to use in your house for?
No. Well, I mean, like the cable that's on that camera right now is RG59.
Yeah.
So, and it's probably, I think it's fairly universal.
Yeah.
And the RG6 is when they started, because when SDI started having to go faster, like when they got into SDI 6G and 12G and stuff, then they pushed to the RG6.
Needed more shielding.
Yeah.
Okay, now I think we've got it.
A more robust cable overall.
Now let's see here. I believe. Figuring things out as you go along.
Is that not what this show is, Ian?
That's exactly what this show is about.
Perfect.
But I think I've got the, I've stripped it correctly. So that's good. Now let's put this end on here. And then we stick this on. The nice thing about this particular type of connector, and I looked at it when we were ordering them, is that it lets you know when it's fully connected because the pin stays in.
Well, that's handy.
It goes,
Oh.
yeah.
I'm in.
slides up over top, I guess.
Oh. That's frustrating.
Maybe not that direction. In fact, definitely not that direction.
Is everything all right there, Ian?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Trying to figure out which direction to put the sleeve on.
I mean, one way or another, right?
Yeah, well, one way it fits on, one way it doesn't, right?
Let's hope. All right, I'll just.
I feel like there may be one or two quotes that come out of this episode.
That are going to be unflattering? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe haunting might be the better.
Haunting.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Let's see if I can figure out what I'm doing.
All right. Finding out stuff from the chat. Apparently, the RG designator is a military designation, and it's literally just every time they come up with a cable, they give it the next number in the list.
Oh boy.
So I guess the RG6 was an early cable plan, and then they made a bunch of other cables, and then they were like, "We need a skinnier cable," and that was the cable after cable 50 RG58.
Well, that's fun.
I mean, I guess at least it's a consistent naming system. If you know that it's meaningless, then I guess that's something. Anyway.
Right.
Don't look for meaning where there isn't where there is none.
I mean, I don't know if that makes me feel better, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in fairness, I imagine it would be really difficult to go back and remap all of those numbers for gear that you would continue to have in service for like decades and decades. So,
well, it does avoid the problem that various standards have run into, like say USB, when they called USB 2 super speed USB. It was like, well, what are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
Now there are like 5 things faster than super speed.
Yeah.
Hyper, ultra speed.
Right. Yeah.
Or monitor standards are also great. Because like there's super VGA, super ultra, widescreen.
Those went forever.
Yeah. And then we got to what? 2K and 4K?
Yeah,
now?
which aren't actually 2K and 4K. 2K-ish.
Yeah.
Borrow this from you here.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Right. USB 1 was full speed.
Oh,
And
yes.
USB 2 was
High speed.
High speed.
Yep.
Well, so what's 3 now?
Super speed.
Yep.
And now there's USB 3.1.
Yes. Or you.
Oh, right. No, USB. There's USB 3, USB 3.1,
And USB-C.
and USB, which is USB 3.2, which is also known as USB 3.1 Gen 2.
Oh, USB-Y.
That's not out yet, but soon. USB-Y is coming, I'm sure.
Ugh.
It's gotta.
Yeah. C is a connector standard. It is not nothing. It has nothing to do
Oh,
with.
Yeah.
There is no
That's
USB
right,
3. USB 3 is actually USB 3.1. Just because otherwise it would be too confusing.
Also, likes are now florps.
Too confusing, you say?
Yeah.
Sure.
I probably could have gone to school for this.
Nobody saw that, right?
I didn't get it on camera.
Okay, good. That's. All right, let's see. Right.
sure most cable installers learn how to do this on the job, Ian.
Yeah, exactly. Wasting their time. Nope, that still doesn't look right either. Try again. Which is why I gave myself a bunch of extra space on this one.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
All right.
Sure.
So you go in here, up to the marker,
No, come on, buddy.
spin you around. Okay, good. This tool's fantastic.
Which tool?
The stripper.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's working exactly as it should.
Okay. What fell over? Power bar.
Yeah.
Hit okay.
Yeah, that's not the first time it has done that. Today.
Wow. Sorry.
What?
Something came up in chat unrelated to about stupid naming things.
Oh boy.
I didn't realize how stupid this is.
Oh boy.
The,
All right.
one of the reasons why they went Windows 8, Windows 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no Windows 9.
Is that because of they were worried about Windows 95 and 98?
Yeah, apparently lots of people just did searches, just had Windows 9 asterisk, like Windows 9 wildcard in their search strings for whether it was running on a Windows 95 or 98.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is amazingly
couldn't-
dumb.
They couldn't not do it because...
Yep. Good
Okay.
times.
I think I've done this.
Oh hey. Now you get to test it and see if you short out a cable. I mean,
Yeah.
not a cable, camera.
No, we'll be doing a... we'll properly test that with some multimeters beforehand.
That's probably for the best. All right, let's see.
Now,
How
what
many of these
size do I want to use here? Let's start with the biggest and go down from there.
Can't really uncrimp stuff. So.
No, no, but you can crimp more.
Doesn't it have like a RG6 crimp level?
It has
Oh yeah, right.
255, 278, 178, 068, 041, and HDTV.
I'm sorry, HDTV?
Yes.
The crimper has an HDTV in it?
Well, it has an HDTV setting. I guess if you need to just get this up to the edge of an HDTV and crimp it.
Oh, I see.
That, okay, sure. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's... says on the box here that it'll...
You're worrying me a little there, Ian.
One...
1694. Is that one of the
1694A. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
That.
Crimp sizes. So I guess it's on. I guess it's on this that is the issue. 1694A. 3 gigahertz, 5 channel. That doesn't help me at all. Let's try the large one. I was trying the second from largest one. Oh, there we go. That fits better.
Hey, nice.
That's feeling good. Hello, Windows. Oh, hey, that makes a nice rectangular, hexagonal.
Oh, hey,
It's a good little
that's very
connector.
pleasing.
Is it good? We'll find out.
Yeah, well, I mean, visually it's pleasing, but
I'm going to actually take advantage of one of the other upgrades to our set here, which is our wireless microphones.
uh-oh. I am
Go back
completely
here.
in your way.
Not at all. I'm going up top here. So where are you currently at?
Well, I've gotten, give me a moment. I've gotten all the cabling out, which is good. I mean, that's always helpful. I remembered that I needed to use a common ground for wiring it into a connector so that I don't have any problems down the road. And also I have these lovely little wires because I knew that I didn't have a spare plug for the sandwich stick.
Right. So that's
But I
individual.
have these conveniently in 5 different colors. I can count everyone. 1, 2, 4, 5. So that I've got a different one for each of them so that I know. So we'll still have to trim that off and actually, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
We won't have to trim much of that. So
Yeah, we'll have to be careful with it about length if we're gonna put a
port there.
a connector down here, which I still think is the way to go.
So I might regret this, but I gave Beige a mic.
He sure did.
Uh-oh.
I think that might. That's probably for the best.
No more of this.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of got its own flavor, right?
Yeah.
That said, no, this is not a new multimeter. Sarah 75. This is my good old Princess Auto Power Fist DT830D.
Did you say Power Fist?
That's what the label says.
Good
It does
logo.
say
Do you want to
Well,
introduce
yeah.
people to
Let's
the?
show this sucker off.
Power Fist.
It's Princess Auto has one of the better brand names.
it's like multimeter. You're only supposed to be measuring the power. What are you doing?
Uh-huh.
Well, for inexpensive multimeters like this, they do a really good job.
That was like, what, $8?
Yeah.
$15?
16 probably.
Yeah.
It makes lovely crinkly noises.
Okay. Well, the shielding is good,
That's good.
or rather the braiding conducts properly, and there are no short circuits. There we go. Yep. So far, we're good.
Perfect.
So far.
Now to just plug it into a camera.
Yeah, and then just lick the other end, I guess.
All right, well, I mean, one of us needed to do it. Boy. Are you blowing? Or
I'm just letting what comes come.
Bang, quote, Ian.
High definition.
High definition.
Right, so if we can get the
You
second
and I are
one.
so good at getting people to walk off shows.
Yeah, it's
these mics are great for that, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah.
Beige tried to do that on another show and ripped out one of the mics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would have done that too by accident. So
we would have had to leave.
no, just I would have made that mistake as well. Like, I would really love to not cut these things, but
Hey, it was tested. Here's a stamp on it
oh, there's a stamp that says it was tested. Cool.
with the number of the person who tested it, presumably. Operator 463. So if you're watching Operator 463 over at Communications Cable Company, thank you so much. We appreciate your attention to detail.
For a second, I thought you meant it's like it's been tested. Here is the tester's phone number.
Oh,
If there's a problem, you feel free to call them day or night, anytime.
Whew, that's some customer service.
that's nope, no, thank you. Nope, don't do that. Bad.
Trick is, don't fold it over. This comb for braiding, unnecessary. As long as I remember to put the sleeve on before splaying that braiding too much. There we go. Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I believe that actually is another. I think I'm probably wrong about this, but I think RG59 is solid core. It's not braided.
Well, this is solid core as well, but there's
Oh.
the braid around the edge.
Oh,
yeah,
the
the outer edge.
There's one that is There's one that is solid core. That is the older type, I think.
That doesn't have that kind of foil braiding. It just has a foil wrap.
Well, no, the cable itself, I guess, doesn't have the. I don't know. I probably shouldn't talk about stuff they don't know anything about, especially when there's people watching that probably do know it.
That definitely know more than
Yeah.
we do in
Paul,
the
Paul,
room.
it's not that bad.
yeah.
I do this every 2 weeks.
There we are.
Okay, that feels a lot better, but it's also not on far enough.
You warned me about humming that song, so I'm not going to hum that song.
Yeah, Google seems to like Girl from Ipanema. Weirdly.
I mean, I can't blame Google.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I think it's pretty neat too. You know what? I should have looked at the pinout on this before I put this back, just so that I could identify which one was the ground. But good news, I can just pop the plate off.
Don't you get started, Beach.
I'm picking different songs.
Oh, good.
I have to remember that I'm actually mic'd.
That does seem important. There we go. So,
Ooh.
yeah, for future reference, it's the bottom one here.
Is the ground?
Yeah, because you can see it just follows
just
through
follow the
everything.
trace, yeah. Okay, so I think I'm actually not cutting those long enough.
I love that out of context. Just so you know, the bottom is the ground.
Yeah.
It's like yeah. The bottom
Yeah.
would be the bottom. Yeah, the ground is usually on the bottom.
Very-
I mean, that could have been a
That
lot
makes
worse,
sense.
so that's fair.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I definitely could have said more
I mean, just in general, it's also,
incriminating things.
it's also very difficult to ground to the air as well. It's a reason we don't do lightning rods in reverse.
But just shooting javelins into the sky.
I'm trying to imagine what that is. Like, what is a reverse lightning rod?
Just a big hollow carbon core.
Right. And just some ripped dude that just throws them into the sky for you.
Is that like to punish lightning
call-
that comes down? You throw
Yeah.
things back up into the sky.
We call him Zeus.
Yeah. Ground Zeus.
Ground Zeus.
Zeus.
Oh.
So, I mean,
There you go. Yeah, a Tesla coil. It's kind of a reverse lightning rod. It shoots lightning out of it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I've always thought the lightning actually started from the ground and then worked its way up.
Wasn't that a thing that was like?
Or is
not
it
too-
apocryphal?
There was like a thing not too long ago that people were saying. It's like, yes, did you actually know that lightning is the lightning strike actually happens where a point on the ground becomes active and it completes the connection, and so you're actually seeing it in reverse. I'm like,
Did you know the lightning's
Huh.
actually backwards?
yeah, and I'm like, really? That doesn't seem right, but
You're the scientist.
there's a lot of people saying that, and so then you start to believe, I guess that's the way it works. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. And then more recently, it's been like, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah, no, that's crazy talk.
Yes.
I mean,
There are two parts to it, though. Like, if you see slow motion stuff of lightning, a little sort of thing comes down first.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that touches the ground, then
Yeah.
That's the flash,
Then
yeah.
the shot comes.
It's like it's tracing out its line, and then as soon as it hits the ground, it's like, wait, now I can send the rest of my potential.
God, okay.
ratchets. There we go. All right, that feels like a good cable now.
Let's see. So how many
Let's
of
make
those
sure
do
it
I need?
is.
'Cause I don't have to clip this whole thing off, but I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't put this to use since it's already helpfully chained, right? Seems only appropriate. The real question is, do we want to? Oh, that sounds good.
It does. I'm a little bit worried because I think I might have actually made this pin a bit too shallow,
Oh,
but it's out there enough that it probably will work.
oh, I see what you
Yeah,
mean.
there's one way to tell. And
Plug it
thankfully,
in?
it's a non-destructive way.
Well, that's a relief.
Let's see here.
So let's see. I suppose. What do you think? Because the games only use 6 buttons, so
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like the wiring harness, so we could go 3 and 3, and that's where I'm leaning, because these are all colored.
Well, if you open up the top shelf there is a Dreamcast controller. Well, you might need to shove.
There it is.
I think
Nope.
there is.
Nope.
Second drawer?
Let's try
Or
the second
third
drawer.
drawer. Sorry, because the second drawer is.
Nope.
There
second
we go.
drawer. Ah.
So if we wanted to match the colors up,
Oh, I see. I mean, the thing is.
well, the other thing I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean I mean, if you were matching to this,
What I was.
you
thinking.
kind of don't have the. I mean, basically, what it comes down to is when it's hooked to the Naomi, you can't remap buttons here,
No.
short of pulling the connectors and moving them around.
Yeah.
So I was just leaning with the Naomi towards, you know, the 3 JAMA buttons here, then the 3 kick harness buttons here, and then.
L and R.
Yeah, well,
Whatever
not
it
L
is.
and R. In this case, it would be probably coin and start, because you use start for your taunts,
Right.
and that's really important
Yep.
when you're playing Street Fighter or versus Capcom 2. Because I mean, when you're playing Dan, you have to taunt.
100%. My thought was actually popping the buttons out and rearranging them in the similar style as the controller. But if we're going with an arcade mapping,
Right.
we probably want to go your direction.
That could also work, I guess. I mean, they're still labeled up here too in the thing for which goes where, but what if that would be?
All right. I'm going to
Yeah, I
Look.
could do that
off screen here.
because they pop out easy enough.
Did you want to go past me?
I'm good.
Okay.
All right. I'll let you connect that up, Paul, to where you, or
All right. So theoretically, what we can try anyway is this guy here.
oh, and I'll.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a shot and I can't get a shot.
You're very,
No,
you're
yeah.
very too close.
Yeah, it's no problem. But yeah, you should come back this way.
Yes. If this works, I'll be very happy. And then I can make some more with far less waste.
That would be nice.
Oh,
Yeah, this is what you meant, right?
yeah. It just provides a bit of symmetry, I was thinking.
No, that's fair.
All right. How does it look, Paul?
Wait. Maybe
That should be it. That's
yes. Wait.
what everyone's looking at now.
No, what we're seeing now is the
What is
you.
saying? Fire. Camera go offline. The camera should be on. Wait. People should be seeing this.
Yeah. Okay, so at least it's working from our preview camera.
People are saying there are any problems.
That drop was really good time. Wow.
Oops.
Well, I guess
I don't show me dropping frames.
no, and
If you swap to a different camera, can they pick up anything else? Because I mean, obviously we're.
Can we see?
Oh, buddy.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear stuff? Okay, great. Everything's fine.
Are we back to?
Okay, we can see the current camera.
Good.
I cut out for like 1 second. Oh, okay.
And I only wasted what appears to be about.
Okay, but it didn't actually do what I wanted it to do.
Oh,
Whoops.
it's fine.
So let me just. Okay, I'm gonna switch to Beige's filming camera and try that again.
Okay.
I think it's working.
Either way, you're going to need another 10-inch cable, a 10-foot cable, correct?
I see what happened there.
And not, in fact, a 10-incher.
Oh, down there.
Hmm.
12, 13. So that's fine. That should be fine.
That's a relief.
Yeah. That's totally. I mean, again, it's easy because the harness already had this stuff. So I'm just going to trim this and then we just splice this in,
Okay.
and then go to. Okay.
Well, we're going to
It's
see how it
good.
works.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So those.
As I was saying, with only about 2 inches of waste.
That's not bad for your first cable.
Yep.
I know it's not your
Alright,
first cable,
this-
but your first of
Yeah,
these.
this is my first BNC cable.
This camera that you're, this screen that you're currently viewing, is being broadcast to you through that cable that Ian just made.
We can't say that all my projects are a failure. Actually, very few of my projects are failures.
Who's been saying that?
Yeah, I don't think your projects are failures.
Do you want to
seems
just hand
rough.
me one end and
They just, your projects aren't failures. They just sometimes succeed in an unexpected way.
I like that one.
that's very optimistic.
That's pretty good.
Okay, and then to there. So again, I just want to double check again. We do need one more 10-inch or 10-footer, right?
Probably. Let's
Okay.
see here. Yes.
Right.
Fun.
Let's see if I can do that
All right.
faster. Oh, actually. Now seems like it's probably a good time for us to take a quick break,
Okay.
given we've been at this for an hour. And
Well, I guess so.
yeah, you've just finished wiring the common ground. I've finished my first cable. I think that's a good time.
All right.
Right, we're going to take a short break, and we will be back with more construction and modifications after
Yeah.
this. This is going to be exciting.
These will be.
Hey, that's what we're looking for.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry. We are working on a Naomi 2, trying to, well, not trying to, we are going to.
We're rewiring this stick so that it is wired to JAMA standard, and then
I'm learning how to make BNC cables.
yep.
Or learned, and now
Well,
I am
you already
making.
learned. You just have to make more.
Yep.
Sorry about
Until you
No,
die.
making more.
I love the way like the cables are currently laid out on the table.
Oh, I see.
It looks like the Naomi is connected to the fight stick with all of those cables.
Every one of those
It
connections
does
is
kind
necessary.
of look like that, but yeah.
Yeah.
My goal is to make it not actually be like that
Like
when it is
there are
functional.
100 connections from the Naomi
But, like-
to the fight stick, and every single one of them
Yep.
is an individual cable.
It's still going to be ugly because the Naomi is going to be wired to it through a JAMA harness, which is this, and then somewhere in here is my kick harness. It has I've lost it to the ages. Oh no, it's over here. And then this will also be wired up. So there's still going to be a bunch of ugly wiring coming out of it, but it will be slightly cleaner, or at least have a clean disconnect.
That we can work on.
Get some
Right.
heat shrink.
Polish.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the simple thing, is to actually put it in, tubing, so that it isn't just all the wires.
I think that will happen, but
But not tonight.
at the
Not
end.
today.
Which and a little thing, factoid that I learned the last time we were talking about the last time we were dealing with the Naomi, that really that just tickles me, is the fact that the kick harness is called the kick harness because it's the thing that makes the kick button.
The kick
Oh,
buttons
that
work
makes me
on a
so
Capcom.
happy.
Yeah,
It's just like,
It's-
oh, that makes sense.
it's so.
the 2 extra buttons that's used for kicking.
Well,
Yep.
you see,
Before
it's,
we invented this, there were only punches.
it's about a bit of an anachronism back from the old days when people used to hook horses up to carts. You needed a special harness to keep your horse from kicking the cart away.
I feel
And
like
that just became a video game thing.
because the original Street Fighter originally was 3 buttons. I thought
It was 2. I mean, it was
it was
truly
soft
6.
and hard attack, wasn't it?
It was truly 6, but the original cabinet, if you go back and
Like
look
not Street
them
Fighter
up,
2, but Street Fighter.
yeah, Street Fighter, had 2 gigantic padded buttons, and the harder you hit it, that registered light, medium, strong.
Right.
And obviously, for arcade operators,
Those broke a lot.
that fucking sucked because people wailed on your machine nonstop. And so very quickly, they switched over to, there were regular Street Fighter cabinets that had the 6-button layout instead of the 2 giant pads. And it was, I think the CPS2, well, no, it was Street Fighter 2 where I think they started developing the kick harness specifically in the format that then made it all the way forward to their conversion for the Naomi 2 board and beyond, because it was on the CPS2 system and the CPS3 system as well, and it's identical. Like literally, you can just pop it out of this thing and plug it in to a CPS3 board, and it still will work the
So
same.
it's a de facto standard in the industry now.
Yeah, well, it's Capcom standard. Mortal Kombat uses a different harness for their extra buttons, but it is a standard on Capcom games. And generally speaking, if you had like a CPS2 cabinet or a CPS3 cabinet, if you got a different game for it, you just change out the marquee, and like that Dynamo Cab or whatever you had it in would just stay the same.
Right.
But
I kind of hope that Mortal Kombat has like a stab harness for
I
all
don't
the
know.
stabbing buttons.
I don't know what they called their extended harness, but yeah, it seems like stab would be very.
It's probably the name of one of their
point.
programmers backwards.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I need
Probably.
to get to you later. I managed, or on my Twitter feed, someone posted high-quality scans of the original documents of the, I think, marquee art and promotional art for Cliffhanger.
Oh. Well, clearly that's something that you need.
Need to find a Laserdisc player, Ian.
Hey, Ian,
Yeah.
I need to get a little more of this wire exposed.
Yeah.
I've not actually used this one. I have one, the one that I didn't bring. Hey, don't put a finger on the blade.
Ooh, okay.
That's important information.
I will make sure not to use this Moyle machine to make things.
Yeah, I just, this is kind of small, so.
You can probably eyeball it with the with one of these 2 blades in there.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, but that's probably the only option there.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll just try not to cut it off because I've only got so many cable to work with.
Yeah, that, or you can just roll it with the razor blade on the table.
No, I think I'm all right on that one.
Did I get that
We
on
have
there?
a one of those shittier rippers if you'd like.
One of the shittier rippers.
Yeah, not one of the auto ones. But
Oh,
one
a
of the-
shittier cable stripper?
Yeah, we have a shittier cable stripper around.
Let's see if it's any good.
I'll see if I can find it.
I mean,
I
you've already described it as shitty, so
Yeah,
I'm not
I don't know if
expecting
it's
much. But
yeah, it's.
You really know how to sell this.
I try my best.
You've tried the best, now try the rest.
oh, you're not interested in our specials? Well, we got plenty of shitty things on the menu.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. Thank you.
What the hell is it?
I think we got it.
Each his own adventure.
Okay. Now you have a crimping tool.
Yeah, I was thinking that it was going to be one of these two up here in the HDTV region.
Oh, you're probably right. All right, well. Is his mic still on?
Yeah, I just remembered that I probably should mute Beatty while he's digging through stuff.
Brave new world, this new moon base.
Come on, you.
Oh, right.
No, no, no. Not like. Okay.
No, I don't think I have it.
Well, that's okay,
It's fine.
because we
I
found
managed to get it anyway, so.
This is the closest thing I could find.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm good, thanhanks.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
that's
not
terrifying. I have one that like is just a tension thing, and it just kind of grips, like it cuts and then just pulls.
Yeah.
I have
And
one of
those
those-
are so nice. I got it for like speaker wire, but I think I brought it the last time I was here. And it
I
was
have one as
very
well.
handy.
Mine is bad, and
Oh.
you do not want to use it for that.
Fair enough.
It'll just pull the wire apart.
Does it have the yellow grips on it and the two things that grab at the top and then pull slowly apart?
It's like a yellow and blue. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely is.
Mine's black with yellow handles and has it has like these two
Okay.
automated spring-loaded
Sorry.
ends.
Here's cable number 2. Let's just double
quick.
let's double check again.
Okay, wait, let's see. Hmm. Which were you thinking here? You
I'd
thinking
go with the
this-
larger of the two.
Yeah.
If not, actually, to be honest, we might even want to use the flat. Maybe not.
Um,
Oh yeah, you'll need to flip the ratchet switch forward. Well, squeezing it.
oh,
Here,
right.
Allow me.
Yep, yep.
You got it.
There it is. Ding.
Okay.
Not far enough.
Wind up this cable here so I can hand it off to the authorities.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This or flat? Well, only one way to find out.
Yep.
No. Of course I did that, so now I'm not going to be able to get my fingers in there for the ratchet. That's all right, I got a,
We've got tools.
yeah. We have an entire toolbox.
Here, you're welcome to try this if you want to strip the next
Oh,
one.
nope, that definitely didn't work. Oh yeah, mine is like, no, I mean, if it's garbage, I trust you when
Yeah.
you say it's garbage.
In fact, I should really actually just...
I think I got to use the flat one.
It's useful for very coarse wiring, so maybe I'll keep it around.
Coarse wiring?
Yeah, just big, thick speaker cable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but for very fine stuff like that, it does not
doesn't do a good job.
No, sorry.
All right, well.
Actually, Ian, I was just thinking, do you still have that orange spike tape over there?
You know, I returned that to the board from whence it came.
I was just thinking that it may
The
be a
board
good
from
idea
whence
to
it
put just a tag on the cable that says how long it is.
On the links, that's a fantastic idea, and yeah, I'll just need some cable or some tape and a pen. Actually, I'll come to you to get that.
Not how. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this lined up. I apologize that I'm in the way over here.
Yeah, that'll work.
Nope, that actually seems to be okay.
So much room to work.
How did this end up all the way over there?
Wait, what?
How did it end up over there, Ben?
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, hey, I don't know. You didn't see anything, right?
Cameras didn't catch it.
Yeah, it's probably not a clip or anything. Please don't make that a clip. That's a joke. Let me see. How did that turn out? Sorry,
Thank you.
just move that out of my hands.
No worries.
Yeah, that's clamped. That's ugly, but
Makes a nice
All right,
little
let's-
flag. 410.
let's put that in 15. No, wait. That is not the one I was holding, because that is not the type of pin.
Let's see if I can catch up with the chat here a bit. Yeah, things are very relaxed here right now.
Is that going further? Or?
Do we have, where's the bag of the
Bag of,
female ends?
it is right here.
Thank you. I was just going to have a look at the,
Yeah, as far as I know, I think you just kind of push it
push 'em in.
in here. I don't think there's anything fancy you do about it.
I was just wondering for crimping as well, if we might even just want to go a different route than the
Technically,
tool.
that's in. I don't know. That tool worked
Oh.
for me. Like
If the,
it's crimped and hanging off of this, and it hasn't slipped the wire out yet. So
you want to check
that
continuity?
counts. Yeah, probably a good idea.
There we go.
Is this on?
Like
Yeah.
TTSF is a chill stream unless there's electricity or cooking involved.
So every
and then,
time.
And then we worry with good reason.
Doop, 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 doop.
It's just a cool place to come hang out with your buds.
That sounds fine.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a connection. I just can't slip it into this, you know.
Right. We can
So.
find ways around that, but if it's on the pin, then that's fine.
Yeah, I think it should be okay.
The back end of the pin is, if there's a short
All
in
right.
that gold connector at any point, we have
Then we're
larger
then
problems
we're
with
in
physics.
trouble. Okay, so what do we have here? Here, plated stuff. I don't think we need that. Sorry,
Just yet.
don't think we need that. Hey, look, it's all my small little
Shovel
quick
doodads.
disconnects.
Or-
Get
All right,
out of
so
my way so that I can see this stuff.
that was a 15-foot cord that I did, not a 10-foot cord.
I mean, I guess that'll do, but this seems excessive for two wires of this size, don't you think?
For for wires of that size?
Well, these.
Oh yeah, no, this is just
Right?
very too much.
Yeah, that's all. I just need to. I need to attach this ground to this. That's all.
Okay,
We've
see.
got electrical tape, so
Yeah.
like you know.
I mean, we could solder it on. We could electrical tape it. It's probably fine.
Chewing gum, that works well.
Chewing gum, yeah.
Chewing gum,
If we
yeah,
can get
yeah.
some connective chewing gum. That's,
Yeah, I was just thinking of how we could crimp it together without you know. I'm going to put this
like we got
away.
shrink wrap too, if necessary.
Oh wait, hold on. I've got a whole.
The heat shrink.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Oops. Let's see.
It's one of the 3 10-foots I need. Those are all.
Way too big. We don't need those. They're just in there because I don't even know. Oh, right, that's the other set of these. I mean,
Meredith?
yeah, I could, but
That's some. Yeah, that's
that's
some amazing overkill.
super overkill. So, yeah, I mean, really, we could just. Let me see.
Oh, hey, if you want to have fun,
Oh, just cut that and crimp it through that?
oh, I cut it small enough so that you can just slip it into the pin position.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Just trim it down into a very small pin.
Oh, I guess you could, well, yeah, but with, you know what? I'm going to let you do that
Ooh, okay.
because I think you actually, well, here, hold on.
I've got all the funny ideas.
Yeah, that's your idea, so I'm going to let you
Okay.
roll with that one.
Well-
I'm going to clip, let's see. I don't need the rest of these because we've got ground on everything here and the one ground here to cover that, so I'm just
In that case, I'm going to grab my toolbox and experiment on this.
On that separate one?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I could just pull this whole thing off and you could, recrimp it onto one of... Would it... Hold on. Because we have these smaller ones too, so...
Yeah.
How many little teeny weeny metal bits can we
put together?
spread across the whole table?
I mean, we could also just rip the plastic off of the end of one of these, and then
True.
crimp them together.
That
might be easier.
might be the easiest thing, rather than trying to fiddle.
Well, good news.
We've just done it.
No, I can take it off so that you don't have to lean over this to rip off one end of it.
Oh,
so
perfect.
feel free. I just heard from Molly.
How is Molly doing?
She's doing quite well, but specifically I sent her a photo of the TTSF set, and yeah, her response was, "Damn, new set looks good."
That's what we like to hear.
It's a good-looking set, everybody.
We got
It's
there.
real good. I walked in and I thought I was on a TV studio.
Yay.
I am on a
And
TV
then you
studio.
were.
That's the thing.
Future TV.
Oh yeah, hey, how about that? All right,
Internet
let's see.
TV.
Yeah! Got there.
Oh, wow.
Now we'll just crimp that.
Yeah, just jam those together
yep.
as hard as you can.
So, sorry, what are you
I'm
doing?
sorry. One more time. No, it's already.
It's happened already?
No. I'll show you. I'm gonna pull this excess wire off, I think.
There is a snip at the end of it.
Yeah, I that's what I started with before, and then I was like, no, I'll just pull it off, and now I
Doesn't want to come.
no, I'm just it's just being, changing my mind in the middle of the thing. All right. So I still think I'm just gonna electrical tape this up. Oh, you've already got
Yeah,
Okay.
electrical tape I think would be, unless you want to.
right. I
retreat.
can't hum the thing because then it'll be a yeah. So Ian just popped that end off, and it just doop doop boop.
Just amazingly slips right in.
There we go. Got there. Now I just got to plug it back in over here and tape it up.
So you're just using one side of...
Yeah, just one side of the quick disconnect, and then just to be difficult, which is to say, to make sure this doesn't go anywhere, we'll just clamp it down on there. I feel like I can do better.
I mean, as long as we're trying, that's what matters.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't think it's moving now. All right, where is some electrical tape?
Now, color is vitally important at this stage.
Yeah, I don't have any. I mean,
We
they're
don't
all
have
color.
black.
I don't have black. I should use black, but too bad.
We don't have black, do we?
It's fine. It's fine, guys.
These,
It'll be okay.
I don't know why when they stopped making black electrical tape, it just didn't make any sense. Was it Skrelly who bought the patent rights to that blackest electrical tape?
Think even of what's it, Anish Poor?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, that guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to prison yet.
Yet?
All things in time, one hopes. I mean, at least Pharma Bro managed to get his, bail revoked by being even more of an idiot than usual.
I'm just looking forward to getting that heist approved.
Oh, right.
Gotta save the music.
I guess we don't have scissors, huh?
Oh,
I'll get you a pair.
I can just, this will do it. This
There's
is
also
enough.
the knife too.
Yeah, I don't trust myself with knives.
Ooh, yeah. Also, that knife is in dire need of a new blade.
Oh, well, good. That's reassuring. Thank you. That's probably good for the next time that I do this.
My hands of steel.
All right, so that's all taped up. So now,
That's ground.
yeah, so that's ground handled on this side. We're putting it into a DB15 connector so that this is not like hardwired to the Naomi.
It means we can still use these as fight sticks on a.
Right. Well, I mean,
Whatever.
again, we pull the wires off and
Yeah.
put the other wires back. It would be nice to have a quick switch between the two of them, but also, I don't think I can do that on a TTSF. And that's also a thing that like I haven't done anything on that level in so long because I don't work on this stuff anymore really, except here.
We call that season 3 when we put together the self-switching system based on which
Fair enough.
one is connected.
Well, even if it's a hard switch,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little beyond where I am right now. It's a good idea. I like it a lot, but yeah, I've just been preserving all the other bits. So now I just need to get this out of the way and then figure out if these are all long enough.
I think this.
And I think they'll be okay. Probably. If not, I can grab them. I've got another set of them, so.
Just going to say, I think this may be the most wires we've had on screen at any time during a TTSF.
You're welcome. I mean, I could bring more next time, I guess, but we won't actually be getting through. A lot of this is like excess wire or wiring that I had from something else that I've kept, like.
It went into the project.
Yeah, you can see that like this is from another harness where I cut up stuff, but I've still got a whole nother set of ground for the other stick. So.
Oh God, with the elastic band still intact.
Right? Yeah.
Could I get one of those 10-foot cables?
Yes. Let me get you the one that's completed. Instead of trying to measure it, grab that. Nope, that's the one I'm working on.
Oh,
Let me have that one.
that one's important. Don't give him that one yet.
Criticize.
You only labeled one end?
He does mean to criticize.
You're
Yeah.
lucky you get that, sir.
Nope. You should just take it back now. Yeah.
Just for that, the next one's going to be labeled in kanji.
I mean, he'll be fine.
10 is one of the easier ones, too.
That's true, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So.
Every time it astonishes me how much data can get pushed through just 2 wires.
Is this the eye?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat can answer this, or I don't know. Maybe one of you two know. But
Oh, right.
why aren't we using SDI? Like why? What does HDMI do that SDI can't? It seems way more complicated. Like SDI goes farther. It's a simpler cable.
It's cheaper cable.
It's a cheaper cable, and it attaches better. It's not, the connector isn't any bigger. Like, why are we using HDMI and not SDI?
Can you run an HDCP through SDI?
That might be it. In that
That's very likely it when you're dealing with consumer products, is copy protection being the only fucking thing that,
That makes sense, especially given the God, remember?
Because broadcast, I'm sure you would not want anything like that. Because the idea being, if you're pumping signal from a camera, you need access to it everywhere.
Can SDI carry
4K?
no video, audio, Ethernet, and power all in the same cable at the same time?
You can't do power or Ethernet.
No, but on the other hand, I don't know of any TVs or other HDMI accessories that actually do that yet.
Right.
Yeah.
It's technically capable, but yeah.
Yeah, the whole HDMI with Ethernet thing, I've only seen in the marketing for cables. I have never seen it actually in the marketing for anything that attaches together with those
No,
cables.
it's true. Yeah.
What was that terrible copy protection scheme on VHS known as?
Macrovision.
Macrovision, thank you.
That was weird.
Macrovision.
That was weird.
That was amazing. I just remember that it would periodically wobble all the colors and then it just kept rolling through
Everything.
It's amazing.
That's exactly how I want my...
Those are black, so I don't want to use those for any of this stuff because black is traditionally ground.
Ooh, while we're on the topic of that, did everyone hear the news today from the EFF withdrawing from the WC3 over copy protection?
Oh.
Really?
The W3C, in an unprecedented move, decided to move ahead with enabling DRM encoded media tags in the HTML5 spec. And they did so after a vote of, usually they work by consensus, but this time they went with a vote of 68 to 20 to 10% abstaining.
Wow.
And it was, and so because of that, Cory Doctorow just pulled the entire EFF out of the WC3. Because there was, it's signaling that, yes, we're willing to allow companies to dictate policy rather than coming to a consensus.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the reasoning
really
is that they prefer it to be done in a standard rather than Silverlight or whatever.
Exactly.
But
I can see that.
But you can see both sides of it, but it's a tricky one.
It's,
I mean...
The answer is, again, make the companies come back and form a compromise.
Yeah.
Allow for research.
Yeah, the issue there is like, I mean, I'd rather have the things like Silverlight, as awful as that sounds, but it's just because, having that copy protection stuff in the standard is dicey.
Well, it opens the door to companies just deciding, well, why don't we put everything behind a DRM wall?
It's a very bad precedent for the rest of us. Unfortunately, yeah.
It's sort of I guess it's the thing with I guess the rationalization is that if a company wants to implement DRM, we want it to be as difficult as possible for them to do it.
Honestly, yeah. But put the onus on them.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is it's like, because
it is there.
DRM is a thing that interferes with, like your fair use rights when it comes to like archiving the stuff that you own. And, and there's a whole big mess with that. And I'd much rather it just be on them.
To protect their own content rather than making us jump through hoops.
Yeah. I mean, really, the reason that they want the copy protection is they want to continue selling us the same stuff in different formats ad nauseum. I mean, case in point is Nintendo. Because it's like, and they continue to sell. I mean, because remember the Wii to Wii U? And that, like, then the store for the Wii U, like, you were buying virtual console stuff all over again, assuming that you were buying virtual console stuff a second time. But it was like that was just their gig. It wasn't like, hey, you bought this from us before. We have this account because you migrated, your Wii to your Wii U. So we'll just let you have the, the virtual console that allows you to say, play it on the screen. And nope, buy it again.
Nope.
Which again, I get that development goes into that and all of that, but it's still making people who have clearly purchased that software before rebuy it.
Not just once.
Yeah.
Theoretically, at least 3 times.
Okay, so I'm clearly going to need to run some wires from this.
In a slightly, somewhat related note, we did a story on Checkpoint today about this, that they dumped the Switch hard drive, like full file system.
Oh yeah, golf.
And found a folder named Flog, which was a cunningly disguised thing of golf. But it was there's apparently on every Switch right now there is a full NES emulator that includes support for Switch motion controls.
Yeah.
And this copy of old NES game called Golf that has motion control in it. You can't play it.
Right. But it's there.
But it is there. And apparently the people who have disassembled this stuff have been able to play it, like launch it.
I saw some
but-
screen caps from it.
But you can't, it's not like an Easter egg that you type in a thing and it happens. But it's interesting.
The long ones. Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that they were doing some kind of virtual console stuff with it because they were teasing the game release stuff and the revamped versions of those for online, right? Like that's a thing they've been talking about with the Switch.
And now that's actually something that's a new feature.
Right.
That's something that makes sense to pay again or give them a bit of cash for.
No, I agree. When you're talking about network connectivity like that, I think that is significant stuff. Good gravy. Why is the red one so much longer? I mean, I'm not complaining. I just
Didn't have to go farther.
confused. Well, it's like the red is all the way down there, and then there are a couple others here that are also long comparatively. I was just trying to, it's like the red, the brown, and the orange. Okay.
The weird thing with it seems like one of the strange things with all these, not just the Nintendo Virtual Console, but all these companies that are re-releasing their own games, their old games, is that they don't seem to just be able to be like, here is an emulator, and then we can just release ROMs for it. Like every game seems to require sort of special stuff,
Right.
which is weird because I think I was reading somewhere that it was partially because Nintendo doesn't want to use the emulation communities.
The off-the-shelf emulation technology.
Yeah, because the licenses don't. They
Right.
don't like the licensing because it's too open. Right?
But by the same token, it's also not 100% accurate either. And Nintendo was weird because what they did in order to do memory management is they had 5 memory management control units that they were using, and off the top it was like MMC1 and MMC2 were like the most popular ones that they were using when they first started making games, and then MMC3, 4, and eventually 5 became how they were doing memory management. And that wasn't like all of them, I don't believe all of them were actually built into the Nintendo. A lot of that stuff came on cartridge because they had cartridges, so you have all that space, so you basically just lay your chips out where you need them.
Yeah, actually, I was just talking with Ben about this at lunch.
Yeah.
That was an awesome aspect of the
Cartridge years, yeah.
of the cartridge years, that they actually put all sorts of chips.
Well, the
Yeah.
fact that the 32X existed is why we got such a good port of Doom for the Super Nintendo.
I was actually reading.
I just finished reading an article on.
Yeah,
The
no,
very
that's fair.
sports of Nintendo.
That one caught me off guard, but it's
of all things.
amazing.
Yeah.
I was actually just reading an article. Somebody was talking about this idea where they would put extra chips in the carts and essentially making the console more powerful than it was.
Yeah.
Like by the final generations, like stuff like the Super FX chip and things were actually better than the Super Nintendo itself.
Yeah.
Fast, higher clock speed, faster.
Yeah.
But they but apparently it was at the point that Nintendo tried to push a thing onto their developers that they had a version of the Super Nintendo that was essentially a full Super Nintendo that could fit inside a Nintendo cart. And so they tried to convince their developers to be like, hey, you can release something on Super Nintendo and then release it on this special Nintendo cart, and people could play it on their old Nintendo system too.
But they would have to. It would have to jump down in level in terms of like complexity a little bit, wouldn't it? Like.
Well, I guess to some extent, but
Yeah.
but most of it could be intact.
That's
The
pretty
problem
wild.
was, of course, that this was so expensive that the developers wouldn't actually make much money on those carts.
That's a good point.
But the fact that apparently that was a possibility is crazy.
No, it's true.
It's wild,
Yep.
but I also love that's a very, like, thinking about that a little more. It's like, yeah, that scans as like a Nintendo thing too. Could it be? Because it's like, hey, you all could keep making NES games. Like, I realize you won't get a whole lot of profit, but we still get our licensing fee. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of win-win, right?
yeah, it's totally
Yep.
As in we win
Everybody
twice.
wins.
Yeah. It's but yeah, having to emulate all of that stuff. They're clearly going back and testing the games to make sure that they're running on the emulator that they've either bought and paid. I'm pretty sure they bought and paid for an emulator from somewhere. I don't know if they actually developed one themselves, but I don't think they'd go through the hassle of doing it. But I mean, also, that could have been an R&D project for all I know. Something for junior developers to work on, right? But when you're releasing the sheer number of things that they have to do, and then you have to ensure that everything that comes out on that runs 100%, or at least non-detectably 100%.
yeah.
You want to be sure that people are having like the authentic experience. It's like, well, they're clearly not going to have the most authentic experience, but they can get as close as damn it, and that means they have to spend time retesting their games. Whereas emulator developers, they're like, we just release a thing, and then if it doesn't work, well, we'll just release a thing in 2 months,
Well,
and
but
everyone will be happy.
That's the thing, is that this is why there are more than one emulator
Yeah.
out there. Is that, are you emulating for perfect emulation, or are you emulating for improvement, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
which is definitely the stated goal of the Dolphin emulator.
Or I mean,
Right.
there's all
For
the
it to
emulators
look
that,
better and be a
Yeah,
significantly
like,
better.
Let's run this software better than we could on its original platform.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair though. Like,
then there's also emulators that
Dolphin,
spend
that's-
extra effort to emulate the slowdown.
GameCube.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically CPU lock. Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't Dolphin? Can't you run Breath of the Wild on Dolphin
in 4K?
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely do that if I had a 4K capable rig.
You need a lot of
monitor.
power
Right.
for that thing to work. I think I managed to. I got it up and running on a 1070, a GTX 1070. It was not happy
Like
with
10
being
at
alive.
1080 or just
no, at
4K?
No, at 1080. Yeah, I didn't do it at 4K.
That's that.
And
would
even
be
then, it was
nice.
still. But on the other hand, booting up something like, say, Mario Kart,
Oh, you've got it.
Mario Kart Double Dash, it looks spectacular at 1080
Oh, I believe
in
it.
a way that it doesn't at standard def.
I like how you do the spin when you're stripping the cable.
Oh,
Like, that's a lovely little.
is that not the approved method?
No, that totally is. That's the thing. For this, I can't
Oh, yeah,
really,
you're
you
not-
know.
There's just no affordance for that.
Yeah. It's basically like if I clamp down a little hard, I'll just rip it off.
What I'm learning from this so far by using that today is that having the right tools makes things a lot easier.
Funny how that works.
Is this a year of Tinker Tailor Solder Fry?
I think we're getting close to
We
it.
may have learned something. I don't want
Uh-oh.
I don't want anybody to panic.
Shut it down.
No, back it up.
When you finish with that cable, can I commandeer you for some help with some of this stuff?
Yes, certainly.
Because in the meantime, I'm gonna strip some of these longer lengths, and they probably could be cut, but I want to have them prepped because I need to. You can get out of the way. I need to just splice them to these.
Okay.
So like we probably could take the cap off and slip that in, and then just crimp it and tape over it, or any other ideas. basically so that these runs can make it to the connector.
I wouldn't doubt if you could probably just shove that into the end of the wire.
You're probably right.
It is pretty mind-blowing with emulators, though, like what is required to do perfect emulation.
Yes.
Like I think
Yeah.
somebody was saying that there's the sort of fan emulator, I guess, the community emulator that strives for super accuracy is called
It's not solid core,
Yeah.
so not quite. Yeah.
BSNES,
Oh yeah.
which as opposed to I think ZSNES is the one that does all the crazy stuff, and I think BSNES is the one that is trying to be as accurate as possible.
And-
They recommend a 3 gigahertz
Yeah.
processor to do it.
I mean,
My God.
This is to emulate something that I believe was 8 megahertz.
but I think you're at that point you're actually emulating actual chip traces.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
And don't
that's
get me,
quite a bit of. Yeah.
sorry,
No, go for it.
don't get me wrong. That I'm not making a judgment call on either of these. In fact, I honestly think that both forms of emulation are necessary, or at least good. Like, one of the problems I have with DRM, and we've established this earlier, is that it makes archival a lot more difficult. And that's and when you're trying to preserve something in a library or an archival situation, you do want it running in as close to or
Yeah.
at original quality as possible.
Yeah. Speaking of archival, that I know that I've talked about this at great length to you before, but it reminds me of the Living Computer Museum in Seattle.
That was in my mind when I was making those statements.
Yeah, which is like literally the purpose of the LCM is to have a functional archive of computers from all eras, and they do. They have.
Functional in the sense that the computers actually
They work. You can
work.
sit down and actually use them. They have a Commodore 64 that is operational, and they have a slew of software for it that you can sit down and boot up and play. And they have an IBM PC Junior. They have
keeping all those running must be a huge.
they have 11 engineers on staff.
Wow.
So if they can't source parts and replace a thing, they will redesign stuff that will work with it and custom make boards and stuff.
So fancy.
It's really incredible. They have
So not only do they have the device, all the computers, but they have all the information that's required to build a exact copy
well, that's the
of that
thing.
computer
Well,
if they
they
need to.
dig to find it out. They dig to make sense of like the circuits and the diagrams and how a thing operated if they can't realistically repair it, to basically remake it. Like they have a cold room and they have mainframes in that cold room, and they're working mainframes from across the ages that you actually can request a
CPU time
login.
on?
Yeah, you can request CPU time. You can if you basically can go to their website, Text and Reverend, and you can file a request to get a login so that you can log time on a CDC 6500 mainframe
We need to tell
because it is operational.
we need to tell Cam this
Oh yeah,
because he knows how to program in COBOL.
amazing. But that's the thing is so those machines are operational because they work at it, and they. But like if a memory module goes in one of those things, when you pick up that thing, it weighs a ton because it is this machined aluminum brick, and it is so beautifully designed. But also they have no need to do that. So when they replace one, they literally just have a modern silicon circuit board that they've made in like a lucite case so that it fits in the same way that those
nice.
modules fit
So
in.
they don't copy it. They replace the
Yeah,
functionality.
exactly. And it's so breathtaking. on the so they have a couple of floors, and the second floor is where most of the functional machines are. But on the first floor, do you need this stripper back?
Did you want to be stripping any of these?
Oh,
or connecting?
Yeah, I have a couple of these that I have stripped both ends on,
Okay.
and I just need, I need each one connected to one of these so that I can punch it back on. But so, and they have other interesting stuff, and they have workshop spaces and all of that. But on the first floor, they have an actual Cray 1 supercomputer. And if you've never seen a Cray 1, I encourage you to Google it. They look like 60s or 70s lounge piece. They are breathtaking. And in fact, they do the bench that runs around the central core is actually a bench you can sit on because it houses the power supply. And they actually have one there, and it turns out, while it's not hooked up, it is functional.
Here, that's
There must be a
it's an example of one there.
Oh yeah, well, so that's like, yeah, you can see through the glass, but normally it's all benched, and then even the central column would also have like the leather padding over it in custom colors, because these things were huge prestige pieces for.
They were actually like pieces of furniture.
Yeah,
One of
well,
the
they
more-
were so like it's Livermore Labs and the
Los Alamos?
the Los Alamos labs were like the top two government labs during most of the Cold War, and they fought over getting serial number 1 of new supercomputers, which I just love. Do you need the tape? Or
No, I was going to actually just match some colors here.
Oh yeah, that's probably for the best. But so they have a Cray 1, and I believe it is, while it is not currently hooked up, I believe it is capable of functioning. I got to see some stuff behind the scenes because we were fortunate, and a friend actually had been working there, and so we got permission to see some of their other stuff, and I've taken photos. It's not like completely under wraps, but they have a Bendix G15, and that is a computer that runs on tubes.
The Brian Michael Bendix.
And if you have
it is literally a series of tubes.
yeah, well, I mean, you've played Fallout, right? Like when you see the Bendix G15, like it is the Fallout aesthetic. Like it has that, like the color palette even is incredible on these things. And then like when you see the backplane and it's just all these dang tubes, it's so incredible. But yeah, they have one of those, but also they have a Cray 2, and those are so incredible, and it's functional, and the Crays are going into an installation. Like they're going to hook them up and power them up. It's just that you can't move them once you if you don't know about the Cray. So the Cray 1 is like, I think, refrigerant cooled. I don't remember all the details. But the Cray 2 is submerged entirely in liquid. That is how it is cooled. And then it has like a waterfall that is like a separate piece where it says Cray across it in like the lucite, and that's where the liquid cools off. But so it's completely, all the circuitry is completely submerged in floor inert, which weighs like 4.5 times a gallon of water for a gallon of floor inert. And if you, yeah, that's a Cray 2. And if you, if you've ever seen The Abyss, and if you remember when they have to put fluid in Ed Harris's lungs so he can go deeper into the trench, that's floor inert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's that stuff because it's electrically inert. But yeah, once you put that stuff in, the combined weight of the Cray 2 computer and
Plus its coolant.
and the coolant is like around 10,000 pounds. So you don't want to move it once you install it, is the thing.
Well, somebody was throwing out numbers that the that the Cray 1 had a power draw of 115 kilowatts.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the other thing is so
You
the
think your graphics card is a hog, you know?
yeah, exactly. Well, and your phone is more powerful than a Cray 1.
Oh, by orders of magnitude.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you want to just crimp these together here?
Yeah, I think that's perfect, honestly. And then we just tape it up so we don't have any kind of stray connections. Yeah, no, they require a tremendous amount of power, and that's the other thing is the Living Computer Museum basically has to request enormous power hookups from
PG&E?
yeah,
Is it?
from I don't know if it's Puget Sound Electricity or if they're on Seattle City Light, but
Just
yeah,
like, so what do you want to hook up? It's a giant computer. Oh,
Call
wow.
them
What are
in.
you going to be able to do?
yeah.
Math?
I
A little
mean,
bit?
yeah, I mean, the upshot of it is I mean, the LCM is something that, that Paul Allen put together. So, like, at least they have Paul Allen on their side when they're, like, asking the city, hey, can we maybe have several kilowatts of power?
Wave
Like
your
all of the
magical
kilowatts?
wand.
Yeah.
Wave the magic wand made of money.
Please help us. Yeah. But no, I'm really glad that it is a thing that exists. It really is incredible to see machines that like I grew up using still functional. You know, that's just not a thing I ever expected to encounter.
And there's something to be said for playing even just games on their own.
Oh yeah.
There's something different about Oregon Trail on an Apple II
Right.
than there is in a browser.
Which is exactly what was running on the Apple II when I was there, by the way. They have an Atari 2600 like tucked around the corner in front of like a very 70s style couch and running on a CRT and all that fun stuff. Yeah, we're getting there. I need to actually terminate all of these, and so I should pay attention to. Sorry, I just went on a tear. It was really exciting to see those machines, and actually.
There's at least like 3 people in the chat who have been like, I need to go to there now.
You really do.
I think if you're watching this program, you are target market for
yeah,
that.
you know what?
museum.
I'm going to look up because there's a book that was not. I don't remember if it's out of print. I have to look it up, but I bought a copy because I wanted to read about Seymour Cray after kind of falling down this rabbit hole. The Supermen, the story of, come on, give me the rest of that subtitle. Yeah, The Supermen, the story of Seymour Cray and the technical wizards behind the supercomputer. It's a pretty interesting read. It's not the best book I've ever read, but like the material is kind of what's neat, and to kind of see Cray sort of iterate through designing these incredible machines. Because basically, the machines that he designed, the Cray 2 wasn't as fast as it was theoretically going to be, and I think there's one Cray 3 in existence, because by that point, the Cold War was ending and price performance was more important than just performance at any cost. But for decades, the machines that he built were the machines that set the standard for supercomputing.
They were.
Speaking of, you can find a couple of videos of him giving lectures on YouTube. There's one that is, I think it's just titled, "What's All This About Gallium Arsenide?" because he was trying to switch from silicon to gallium arsenide for chips. Anyway, yeah, it's really neat stuff. And he tells some kind of adorable, funny stories about working in the industry before he gets into talking about why he thinks gallium arsenide is the future of computing. Yeah.
Turns out, not so much.
Yeah. Well, it's just prohibitively expensive to make chips out of compared to silicon, and So there's no reason why we would explore that when, you know, we've clearly been making do with silicon for years and years.
Until we hit that wall.
Right, which we've yet to hit. So
But we can see it.
yeah,
Or we can't see it is the problem.
Yeah.
Because it's whatever, not 6
Oh.
nanometers we're at now.
G-Dwarf is saying there's actually talk about switching to it again because you can get much higher clock speeds out of it. Yeah, and that's
And we're at
that's
the,
why he was
and
looking at it. I mean,
We're at the point where
it will be incredible if we switch to gallium arsenide, you know, like 30, 40 years after Seymour Cray died. Like, that would be incredible.
You know, we're also just seeing a lot of interesting things happening in chip design anyway. Like, who would have expected AMD to come out and just destroy on the number of cores they can get on their chip?
Right?
Who would have expected Apple 10 years ago to basically replicate desktop performance
Right,
in a chip for a phone?
Yeah, to dominate in an ARM design.
Yeah, we're not done with silicon yet.
Okay, good. These are the female ones.
it is pretty because they're down to are they down to a 6 nanometer process now? I know they were down to a 10 nanometer.
I don't know.
process.
I don't know how far
6
they're down.
might be in the chat will help us out with this, of course. I think I remember 6 being either in the next generation.
But I know they were I remember even with the 10 nanometer process, they were having issues with quantum tunneling and stuff. And it's like, come on, really?
That's. Hey guys, we live in the future.
The chips are too
We're at 8
small.
right now. Okay. Yeah.
We're at 8, so we still have a ways to go. But
Before we run out of nanometers.
before there are no more nanometers left.
I remember when I was in school or in university and I was doing my hardware course, just learning about some of the stuff where it's a processor is so complex inside it that it takes a measurable amount of time for if you put an electric current through it to come out the other end. And or that they actually there was an innovation in the was it the South Bridge between the processor and the RAM by physically rotating the chip 45 degrees so it was as a diamond instead of a square.
And that made all the difference.
So that means it was able to be slightly closer to both the
Oh my
the
God.
stuff in the
Of
processor
course.
and the RAM. That difference in distance, in physical distance, made appreciable gains for the speed of electricity, the speed of light, right?
No, I believe it. I mean, because that was that's one of the things about if you look inside something like the Cray 1, you look at it and it kind of looks to you like it's a rat's nest, but a lot of the things they were doing at that point were precisely he was precisely laying out and timing the cable length so that all the clock timing was lining up as signals were passing from one to the
wow.
other. Yeah, to give you an idea of how long
Yeah,
that kind of thing has been impacting.
The speed of light doesn't change. So
yeah, so you have
change
to
the distance.
Yep, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I really
Okay.
kind of pooched that clamping, so let me see if I can. I mean, it's clamped. It's just. Alright, which way are you bending, buddy?
I think this is a case of not necessarily using the right tool, but
Yeah, no, for sure. This is just one of those well,
it's close.
it's kind of close. It's just the I'm sure I could break the connector if I'm too doofy with this. That's probably fine. All right.
If it makes you feel any better, I've just been mashing these together.
No, it's fine. That's kind of what I did with this one. It's just that it didn't quite
It's no, that doesn't make me feel better.
work out the way I wanted it to. I'm gonna put these up top.
One time. All right, here is your last one of these guys.
Thank you. Oh, excellent. All right. Do you need this back?
I will unless you've got something else for me to do here.
No, I think at this point I'm needing to kind of, well, it depends. I mean, you could, sure, you know what? Here. Now that here, I'll give these back to you.
Okay.
Is it deliberate that we have both green tape and blue tape, and yet you attached a green wire to a blue wire with red tape?
Don't even worry about it, Paul.
How many wires do you have there?
I think it looks quite
1, 2,
attractive,
3.
but I just
So I'll need one
wondered.
more. One more
So,
lead.
yeah, and just terminate those with that.
Yes, sir.
Also, thank you. I should pull these ends off these.
It's nice using the appropriate size wire for these. I'm going to give that a try.
Yeah, I mean, I used the square one, and that seems to be the best option, but your mileage may vary. I should just, that noise.
Oh, so close. It's like it's almost the right size. Actually, no, that's not a full grip. What is that? No, that's not a full grip, but I can finish it up with the needle nose.
Okay, well, I'll leave that one to you, so. Dang it. Whoops. It's fine.
Do we need to redo any of those cables?
No.
Great.
I mean, I should have pulled it off first. I just need to
I'm going to try
Strip
something
this
fun
one, 'cause
for my
I-
own self here because we've lost a camera person. But
Oh.
all right. Oof. Hopefully that's not going to ruin the focal length I set up there. Aha! There we go.
Nice.
Nice.
Oop, need to spin that a bit more there.
Actually, you know what? I'm just going to trim the ends of these and send them your way and let you crimp the
That
ends,
sounds good.
because that's
I am happy to do so.
way easier.
So these cables are a braided cable.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't-
Well, not braided so much as I think just stranded.
Yeah, they're just, they're strands. They don't have to be for this use, but they usually are because they can be pretty flexible.
Yeah, I think then that's it. Is flexibility is the key. I mean, honestly, it'd be much easier to work with solid core for this to work.
Yeah.
Getting that tight tip so that it can fit into the connector is. There we go. And then just spin it. And I'm not sure if that's visible to you guys at home, but we're getting the
Really good there.
yeah, the butt of that right up to the insulator. So these arms are
Nice.
clamping down on insulator rather than on bare wire.
Nice.
And I'll try and do a quick crimp there one way, bring it back the other way, just bring them together, give it a good grunt, and that's
Hear you,
pretty
Chad.
stable.
I hear you.
Okay, good.
Nice.
It's great. That should go on one of those, YouTube oddly satisfying compilations.
Let me see these back so that I can actually pop this off.
So what I'm learning is next time we put one of these together is we lubricate the connectors.
Oh, does that make it easier?
No, just for your
Oh.
job of
Oh, I see.
yanking those out.
I mean, it's, you know, I'm not, it's not the worst. It's just the, like, I mean, that's the thing. You want them to be on pretty well so that you don't have them fall off because you're button mashing.
I'm going to take this moment to go grab a second pair of needle nose pliers.
That's a good call since I was just putting, I mean, I'm done with them now, actually. But,
Good, because I don't know where the other set are.
okay, well, good. I mean, that's not good, but acceptable. Ooh, you are. There it is.
That's a good.
Thing I have figured out about these is that one side of this larger connector is generally a little more trim than the other. Actually, that's not true on this one, but
This one's good now.
oh, thank you.
We've got a decent little assembly line going here too, I think.
Yeah, that was kind of, I just realized like you seem to be slightly more comfortable with that, and that is helping me out tremendously. Because then I can at least get this side of the thing together and we can make some headway on the other.
Well, this is just very fiddly work that unfortunately needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the upshot is this will look clean when I close that case.
And I like that.
Once it's closed off so no one can see it.
Yeah, so no one can see the terrible rat's nest that I'm just going to stuff all these wires in it, is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that. That would drive me batty.
Monster.
I know.
It's always the PC builder's dilemma.
Uh-huh.
It's like the
fully-
case is going to be closed.
I
No one's
know.
going to see it, but you'll know.
Right. You'll know even if you have a closed case. I mean, that's blessed. That's why I love fully modular power supplies.
Yes.
It's just like, oh, Hugh, thank you. Yes, that's what we all want. Also, why did you have to make them cost more than the other ones?
We know exactly why.
Because you knew we wanted them.
Because
Yeah.
the people who care about what cables look like generally are the people who want to pay a bit more for things that look nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least we don't have ribbon cables anymore. That's nice.
I actually kind of miss ribbon cables.
Well, I
they
mean,
sucked for routing
The
things.
the thing that I appreciated was the first time that I saw a build where someone had done the kind of origami folding with their ribbon, with like the flat cables,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and then because then it actually was like, oh, this is actually quite nice, hidden behind the plate that all the hard drives are mounted to, but like never take off that side of your case.
Or the whole thing will just like spring.
Or it all looks terrible. Yeah. Yeah, I get really aware of that stuff when like a case has like a window into it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just like, I don't want like 50, like multicolor LED fans and that whole, like, I don't have anything against it, but I just generally don't want it because I don't want a laser light show on my leg while I'm playing. But
Yeah, last time I built a computer, it was surprisingly difficult to get just a normal case.
yeah, well, I mean,
It wasn't overly aggressive.
the thing I found was I was looking for, I was looking at like high airflow, low, like quiet fans.
Right.
And it was cheaper to get the like LED lit quiet fans than it was to get the ones that didn't have any LEDs.
Then you just don't power them.
Yeah.
It's like we found out. It's like our old streaming computer, or the computer we use for streaming now. We bought it 2 or 3 years ago from NCIX in Vancouver, and they're usually, they're just in Vancouver, so it doesn't take very long to ship stuff, and they're usually really good. Like they're pretty much the best sort of computer parts place in this area.
Right.
And we ordered this, and a week goes by and we don't hear anything. We're like, what the hell? And then so we tell them, it's like, oh, there's a part is back ordered. We're like, oh crap. So another week goes by and we don't hear anything. And then finally, like 3 weeks later, we were planning on kind of getting all set up and ready. And 3 weeks later, the computer arrives and it's all good and set up and stuff. And we figure out that the part that they were waiting on was the cold cathode LED or cold cathode thing for inside.
Oh.
And we're like, we didn't even want that to begin with.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, really?
I'm just of the opinion that if I'm looking at my case, something's going wrong with the computer.
I mean, you're probably not wrong, but also, I mean, I'm sure there is still an aesthetic standard that you would like your case to meet.
Oh yes, and that I had to deal with when I was putting together my FreeNAS rig. Trying to find a case that was under several $100s, preferably under $100.
But
that
didn't
had
look like garbage.
Yeah, it didn't look like a. How does Cam put that? Look like a xenomorph fucked a shoe.
Ow. Ah.
Yeah. One of my favorite descriptions of current modern PC gaming aesthetic.
Cam does have a way with words.
He really, really does. It's a thing of beauty.
So yeah, finding a computer case like that was a difficult task.
Yeah. I mean, I actually had the case that I built my system in. I mean, it's built on this ridiculous. Oh, those are close. It always makes me nervous, but like they're not touching, but like.
I mean, we can put a circle of tape around them if that will help the peace of mind.
Yeah, I might just start doing that.
Maybe get it was hot glued.
Yeah, well, actually, that's probably smarter, but
The actual monsters.
that's not actual monsters. That's being thorough.
I mean, the hot gluing makes sense. It works as long as there are no shorts
Oh, right,
once it's hot before it's hot glued.
that's true. Yeah, just hot glue your shorts together. Wait.
That's another different.
Yeah, I think this is the way to go here.
Tiny wires.
Hey, Beach.
Bees.
Bees. How's it going?
Where the bees be at? With Artemis from the start of this, coming in later, because it's Luna who gave them the pens. That's just...
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was very quickly trying to make Wild Wild West into a chronology of Sailor Moon, and I couldn't keep it up.
No, it's admirable. See? Started again. It's really hard.
It's a good song, let's be honest.
I mean, once it's like, hey, you need to not do that thing, not have that tune in your head.
Yep.
It's very difficult to stop thinking about it.
Oh, I have been a bit of a moron here. Oh, I've just been doing this harder than I needed to.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, they're going to be better now
Well,
than they currently are, but
I think they're probably still fine, but I appreciate your dedication.
What I've been doing is trying to twist the wire in deep into the contact,
Right.
and it turns out it doesn't need to do that. What's been standing in my way was the insulator, not the wire bending.
Oh. Well, that's handy, right?
Yeah, makes it a lot easier now. Turns out the wire just slips right in, and it's the insulator getting in the way of the grabby bars, which I'm sure have a technical term.
The grabby bars.
Yeah. Yeah, the squishy grabby bars.
That's a weird show. I'm not sure I cared for season 2.
I can't believe the BBC let it go for as long as it did.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, publicly funded television.
Kids loved it. They were big fans.
It's a great thing on my
Yeah,
Twitter.
which is weird because when it's at like a 3 a.m. time slot,
Yeah.
you kind of wonder if kids should be watching that. I mean, hey, Mighty Boosh and all.
Came across my...
Oh, speaking of British shows, not strictly related, have you watched Ben Elton's newest show?
Is this the Lego one? That...
No. So Elton, I believe, is one of the folks responsible for the Blackadder series.
Oh, okay.
So the latest is clearly one thing happened and then the show was greenlit. And that was someone went, hey, what if we had David Mitchell play Shakespeare?
No, I'm in. I am 100% in.
Yeah, so that's the show. It's a farce, much like Blackadder's. It's called Upstart Crow. And there's like one 6-episode season so far. And yeah, it's very much like Blackadder's sort of sense of humor, but it's David Mitchell as Shakespeare and a tremendous amount of Shakespeare like deep cut in jokes.
I cannot tell you how much I've been missing David Mitchell, so this is...
it's yep. Yeah, it's
It's David Mitchell as Shakespeare.
yeah.
That's all you need to know.
yeah, and it's a historical farce, so
I'm down.
I thought you all might appreciate that idea. Come on. Did I err side? Or did I
There
just...
we go.
We'll be fine. I don't want to super bend this stuff up. Hey, look at that. That's a couple of them. Now I just have to...
If you do want to get some bends in there, we've got a couple spudgers in the tool bag as well. Or
Some bends. I mean, I don't...
tiny picks too.
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad because I do think that there's just sort of like a back end of these that, you know. But yeah, I'm just trying not to make too big a mess as I slowly get everything in here. So then we've got 8 more to go in.
And this one's good.
I kind of like, thank you. I kind of like, so I've got the grounded 15, 1 through 4 is the stick. I'm thinking, because we've got 8 of these, to just use, I mean, actually I could do 4 on the middle and then 4 on the bottom along with the ground.
Yeah, that matches the layout then too.
Yeah, and that makes it easier for us to refer to for the second stick as well.
This actually doesn't look bad.
No, I mean, it's not the worst. I'm just using electrical tape because I'm concerned about, you know, having contact here. But we're, again, DB15, and then I actually just popped out one of the side buttons down here. Hello. So that we can just connect it through the side and not have a whole lot of trouble with it.
Always put that button back when we need to.
Yeah. Actually, if you want to... So I think the tape doesn't need to go past this spot. It doesn't really matter if it does a little bit. It'll just kind of get pushed back. But if you want to help me drop
thing.
electrical tape on some,
That I can do.
we'll just do that, and then I can real quick punch all of those in. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna have the other side of this done, because that's, you know.
This is a good long project.
Yeah. I mean, part of it is also I'm rusty, so I'm not up to speed in the same way as I would be if this was like the thing that I was doing constantly, making these for folks.
That doesn't sound that fun.
Oh, what? Just constantly? I mean,
Like this sounds like this is like a fun project to do
once.
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
for yourself.
Oh, sure. I mean, I used to. This is not the thing that I used to do the most of. The thing that I used to do, same place that I had an arcade was for a while, especially when the Dreamcast was around, was to install mod chips. And thankfully, it wasn't long before they went down from like the crazy 20-wire set to just a 4-wire chip. And then obviously they didn't need them anymore because you just repackage assets so that they didn't take up as much space, and you could just drop it on a CD-ROM instead of a GD-ROM. But yeah, that's a thing I used to do, and that was, you know, it wasn't terrible. It just gets boring after a while because it's just the same thing. Oh, right, you have tape.
Speaking of
Whoop.
which, for those who are
I lost it.
asking for an update on the Dreamcast, or might be asking for an update on the Dreamcast, now it's been brought up, we
There was a blue smoke question, whether
Yeah.
it's still all in there.
it's still all the blue smoke still exists in the Dreamcast.
Oh, boy.
But I think what we'll be doing, because I've made such a dog's breakfast of the IDE port on the bottom,
Dog's breakfast.
I'm going to,
Good phrase.
instead of trying to solder that, I'm just going to leave those cables in there, maybe slice the ends off. And I've put it in order with a gentleman somewhere in China through, what was it, through Taobao. So I've given him my money.
And in theory, you're getting a product from him.
Yeah, well, first he has to ship it to the central distribution warehouse.
Okay.
Then I can be charged for shipping to me.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah. The problem is that everything's done in Chinese.
And
so,
what is this device?
It's just a plug-in
Okay.
adapter for an IDE.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds way better than what you were working
Yeah,
on.
so it's like
No
the one,
offense.
No,
but,
no, not at
yeah.
all. It's like the one that the guy in Russia sells, if you can ever manage to get one for $200.
Oh.
Except this is $25.
Does this guy in China know the guy in Russia?
They might.
Might know of him,
Yeah.
and that's probably why he charges $25 to the Russians, $200.
But I will be doing some more soldering, because in order to get this particular mod up and running perfectly, that means a BIOS modification.
Yikes.
Which means soldering a new BIOS chip on top of the existing one.
Oh,
On top of the existing one?
Yes. With
that really sounds fun.
with a couple of the legs splayed out and attached to certain points, so you can
Yeah, you
flip
know
a
how you
switch.
can like install a microchip onto a cockroach and then remote control it? It's like that,
Yeah.
but in your Dreamcast.
Yes.
Or
I mean, it is kind of like that, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Really.
That's the disturbing
It's-
part.
it's kind of like that Sonic and Knuckles cartridge for the.
Ah! Ow! Ow!
Yeah, almost exactly
Ow,
like that,
ow,
actually.
Ow! Yep. Okay, let's see.
Actually, that's something I'm surprised. It probably does exist, and I think I just need to look it up. But I'm surprised that no one's made a homebrew version of Sega TV with a like a Raspberry Pi or something.
Like something that rebroadcasts the Sega TV stuff.
Yeah, so that you can you grab an old Sega TV cartridge for the Genesis, plug it in, then plug it into the cable, and download your games.
Let's see. So that's
I guess they're.
bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be a nice way to do it, so you didn't have to have all the cartridges.
True. I'm just not sure if all the games were available by Sega TV. No doubt there was some there were some limitations there. Anything else you got for me to do at this point?
I'm honestly trying to think of what I could ask you to
Okay.
do.
In the meantime, I will just put together another 3.5-foot cable.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. Ooh. All right.
Yep. All right. We'll need to borrow our little yellow friend here, though.
Oh yeah, no. I obviously I'm just going to be maneuvering these into the connector, so I don't need that.
Great. Yeah, case-wise, I would really love to pick up one of the John's Bow ones, but that's going to be a next PC.
Wait, the what now?
The John's Bow cases. They're
I don't think I.
they're a beautiful mix of glass and metal. I'll have to show them to you, but it's JONSBOW, all one word, I believe. Cam has one, and they are just gorgeous but pricey.
Did we miss? Did I miscount cables? Did I drop one?
It's just BO. JONSBO.
Oh, JONSBO. Thank you.
Oh no, it's right here. Herp.
Those are pretty.
If Apple made cases, I think they'd look like that. But
I wish
I mean, we know what Apple's cases look
Yeah.
like.
yeah.
They look like cheese graters.
not for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, you really should. I think the thing to do is to just, gut a dead G4 power cube,
Yeah, I mean,
turn that into your case.
I'm actually thinking of doing that with the, what is it called? The server that James got me for Christmas last year.
Oh.
The old Power Mac G4 or G3 server.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be
I was so
pretty.
happy when we found that.
Yeah, it's a good case.
amazing.
The problem with all of those case mods, though, like modding a Mac to a standard ATX case, is the port door or the port cover on the back.
Oh, like the back plate is
Oh.
all different.
Yeah,
right?
well, they're
Yeah.
different and they're never in the same place.
Right, and so you'd have to really.
If you
Yeah.
don't, like Dremel out
Like,
holes in the
every
back, yeah.
version I've seen has been a janky Dremeled something or other.
Right. Well, it's that. Yeah, it's that, or you have to go with like a micro ATX motherboard so that you can mount it in a way that.
So what I think I'm going to have to do for this build, when I eventually get around to doing it, is probably design the back panel just as a full piece. Just gut out as much as I can, get it clean, and then submit a laser cutting order to one of the shops in town to do up a metal backplate.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that would be pretty rad.
Actually, and I just remembered what my actual idea was for it, was to make a proper backplate, just solid,
Oh.
with the window cutout for the
Yeah.
window that comes with motherboards.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
And so that way the case is upgradable.
Oh boy.
What have you run into?
Oh, it's just sort of a snug fit with all these other
Yeah, 'cause we've
pins
got a lot of
here.
insulator in there.
Yeah, well, because of the fact that we have, all these. Oop. We got all these other friends here with. Yeah,
So much tape.
we might have overdone it on tape. Ian. We may have put too much tape.
Well, I mean,
This.
if we need to go back, we can just do every second one.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That probably would have been prudent. But hey,
Things to
there's
remember
an awful lot on that one.
for the next time. That
Right.
theoretically, I'll be doing that.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I do enjoy coming up for this. But yeah. But if it's only going to be like every time I come up, it might take a while to get this done.
Yeah. We might have to. Well, there's some precedent for doing some prep work off screen, especially once the chat has seen
Right.
what's being done.
That's fair.
So I could probably end up redoing or doing the second stick in downtime. When I find some downtime.
Arclight Dynamo in the chat suggests that you could make a laser cutter on Tinker Tailor.
Oh, make a
That-
laser cutter.
I've considered that.
That doesn't. That seems safe.
Actually, yeah, the laser cutter I wouldn't want to make myself, especially given that there's so many good options for
Yeah, you just need to calibrate it.
reasonably. Yeah, exactly. Which would be an interesting thing. But I did see a instructable the other day for a an expandable CNC machine that you put together yourself,
Whoa.
and that sounds interesting. But that would basically take over this set.
Yep. Well, looks like you have to move the moon base again.
Yep.
Because Tinker Tailor needs its own studio.
And I think that Alex would then take over the Thursday night slot with just CNC porn. Or CNC crash porn. Sorry, I must make that
Crash. Right.
Yep.
That doesn't seem good.
It's
Well,
not, but it's entertaining.
After you saying that you saw like a DIY thing and how to do a CNC cutter, I was thinking about like a DIY thing for a laser cutter. And I'm suddenly afraid that there's an article somewhere that's just like, turn your normal laser pointer into a laser cutter.
Ooh.
These 3 easy steps.
And I'm afraid that maybe there is a way to do that in 3 easy steps. And there's a lot of laser pointers out there, and I don't want them turned into lasers that can cut things.
Having seen the size of the lasers that come out of the back of these 45 watt CO2, like the emitters, I don't think that there are many handheld laser pointers that can be converted into cutting tools.
There we are. Here you go.
Boom.
Hey, it's a stick.
I plugged in the other connector that we don't have wired up just so that it would sit
there?
while I was closing it.
Nice. That's actually fairly good.
That's it. I mean, now we just have to, wire this harness to this connector.
And I'm 100% certain I can find a way of actually just making a friction mount that keeps that connector here.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
So, just so I'm clear, what have you accomplished with the so
I
it was
popped out-
wired up.
So this is the original wiring harness and the circuit board. That's all the connectors for, connecting it to a Xbox 360 or PC.
Right.
Now, I have rewired it for arcade standard, or for Capcom arcade standard, and then we have punched all of it into a DB15 connector, like a serial port style
Oh,
connector.
nice. Okay.
So that then we can wire from the JAMA harness and the kick harness into the matching connector on the outside here. And now that I did this, I can't get it off so easy.
Ooh, actually.
So the idea is that the connector you're using the connector as just a sort of a way to break the cable, so it doesn't have to be all transported as one
Right.
piece.
So this can be separated from it, and we'll just, obviously with this rat's nest, we'll have to clean it up, and in some cases probably splice wire so that we get a nice separate connector for this versus for the other stick.
Well, what I was thinking of was putting all of this into some sort of an enclosure.
Right, which
With
is ideal.
With these serial ports.
All on the outside of it,
Exactly.
so that then you just,
had a nice clean cord going between.
I like that a lot.
Speaking of which, if we wanted to test the continuity of that, do we have any VGA cables handy?
Oh, that's a good point.
I think we have a few dozen.
Okay, and then we can just,
You mean that we can rip open? Or,
We just
sorry.
test-
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the way my brain works. Is like, oh, well, we could just take that and then rip it out and splice it into this. And
Oh, then we're done.
yeah,
Why aren't
Sorry.
we doing that?
I don't know, Ian. Why aren't we doing that? Ah.
I think we're doing that now.
Nice. Just gonna cut the end off a VGA cable and splice it into the wire.
Yeah,
If they're all independent wires, why not?
I mean, yeah,
They're like 37 cents, right?
yeah. A VGA cable at a thrift shop can't be more than $1.
Oh, we have too many of them here.
Then we have.
I don't even know. Did we throw any of them out from the new monitors or whatever?
Probably not.
Okay, I might have one at home even still that I can bring back into the thing.
Well, we did it the hard way once,
Well,
just to prove we could.
okay, good. Yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah, I just had that moment where I was like, wait, do we need a VGA extension cable because of the? But no, we at least did this part right.
And then we just do a female on the other side as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can just use.
A VGA. Wait.
Oh wait,
Okay, so-
yeah. So we need an extender for the other side.
Oh well, I guess, or we just use another. We have more.
Yeah, we just use a female to this one.
Yeah, we've still got
Yeah.
another female in here. Not that one.
That's for the other stick, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, yeah, but also we could just grab another couple of female ones, but we could just use another female one for the other end. Yeah. Meantime,
This is very
There are
simple.
several shorted pins in a VGA cable.
Oh well,
well,
maybe
Are you
that's
sure
not
you
such a
have
good idea then.
full-pin cables?
yeah, I'd need to know what the actual,
Pin out.
yeah, how the wires roll in this, but okay, well, I
In
mean,
the meantime,
yeah, you can't leave me alone with this because I will clip off one of the ends and start peeling apart the wires. So I feel like I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that.
well, I was curious. The reason I was bringing this up initially was
To see if it fits.
not just to see if it fits, but to see if we got the pins deep enough.
It seems like it because I mean, they seem like they fit.
Right. So now what we do is we just do a continuity test from one of the buttons to one of the pins.
You know, when you're, yeah.
Pin 15 should be.
Pin 15's ground.
Lagio Drit in the chat says, keep in mind that there are several shorted pins on
Yeah.
the VGA cable.
Stick that to the ground.
Yeah, and I don't know how the pins actually roll in this.
Yeah, I'm not getting any.
Yeah. Well, here.
You don't have to sink the button down, do you, to complete the connection?
Not if
No,
we're
no,
going,
'cause
not
I'm-
if we're
I'm
going,
going
ground to
right
ground.
here,
We're just
yeah.
doing just a continuity of a wire.
Here, let me see if I do it here.
No,
In your 15, let me see.
I'm just
Oh, you're just working your
tapping
way
each
through
of the corner buttons. That should be up top.
that. I mean, 15's on the bottom and all the way on one side. So,
Yeah, it should be either this one or this one. It's not.
I mean, I think this is deep enough that it's connected, but I think because this is not wired the same way that we would wire,
I think you're right.
I mean,
So let's put this away before we.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of how we could test this.
Oh, we could shove one of the pins from the male side into the.
Yeah, that was another way that I was thinking about. I just don't know if we can.
Get it that deep in there. I'm going to attempt to finish this last cable before we.
Here,
Oh,
Ian, hold this and put your end on the red.
okay.
I mean, on the black. I'm sorry.
Is there-
Yeah, good.
Okay,
Yeah,
then we're good.
so definitely is fine. It's just VGA is not wired the same.
Yeah. All right. Good work.
That's a good start.
It was a good start last time. It's a
True.
good,
Continuation?
Yeah.
Let's go with it.
good next episode. Dabba dabba da, etc. And speaking of dabba da, I'm actually a little more tired than I thought I was. Yeah. Speaking of all that, we are supported by you, our loyal viewers and our lovely viewers. Thank you so much for joining us today on Tinker, Tailor, Solder, Fry. It's been a blast here in the New Moon base. We've
Yeah,
made some
it's
real
a-
progress.
It's a lovely space.
Yeah, we're getting cables made up, and we'll see you in a fortnight. But before we leave, we should let you know that Tinker, Tailor, Solder, Fry, like all of the shows here on the mighty Loading Ready Live Video Entertainment Network, are supported by you, the viewer, both by your continued subscriptions here at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun and on the Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. And we thank you for your continued subscriptions, your new subscriptions, and your bits. Paul, who decided to grace our glorious stream today with their subscriptions and bits?
Those are these people.
Ah. Z Alpha, who subscribed for 20 months. Wires everywhere, and not one of them is actually delicious Twizzler variant that they look like. You. Baldrash for 31 months. Hyped for the triumphant return of TTSF, Ben, and Arcade Insanity. No JP for 12 months. Anniversary. Do you want to get on the fun?
G-Dwarf for 41 months is the portmanteau.
Yeah,
I don't.
Monstrosity for a number of months that I
IBAN,
just
I think,
missed.
right?
Alien Nanobots, and Chewy2420, who is a brand new subscriber. EOT Foff for 10 months. It's been 10 days and I'm still not over that lighting. It's real good.
It's very good.
Realinova is a new subscriber, and Rar has 10 months of subscription under their belt, saying likelihood of mysterious blue smoke being released, 0. Sean Latimer is a brand new Patreon supporter. Thank you, Sean. And Stratos 0083 is subscribed for 7 months. 7 months, sweet! 7 months! Anja Zeta subscribed for 12 months. Happy anniversary to Biofrin, who introduced me to the glory of Lure. Happy anniversary! And Tarxis is a new subscriber. Thanks for joining us,
welcome.
Tarxis. Any Gould for 2 months. Education
Any Gould.
content.
Basket Case, new subscriber.
Thank you. And Texan Reverend for 17 months. Moho Machine is my graphically descriptive and utterly terrifying. Ooh. Ostetro for 8 months. And Thrown to the Wolves for 40 months. Minichi for 8 months. Either I'm a month behind on my resub, or this baby is about to be born. Really hope it's not the first one. Wait, it is the first one. That's good.
Right.
Desert Bus Game Jam for 12 months. Desert Bus for Hope 2017 Jam is now taking signups at itch.io. Get on it. 2 Untapped Mana has 8 months of subscription under their belt. Keep floating that mana. Tellan Stray for 29 months. Thank you, Tellan Stray. And Mimic325 for 12 months. Thank you, Mimic. And thank you so much to Icefinch, Earthen One. Just accept the username. Empyreon, the softest bunny, Halakitty, Lagrange is my homie, J Blanc, EOTFOF, Bomb and Friends, Andrew, Xanatos69, Pinnery, and Elemental Alchemist for those 3,810 bits. Thank you so much. Paul, what's up next on our glorious network?
Well, I was going to say first, we do have this poll. as is-
That's right, as is tradition.
and
Uh-oh.
there seems to be some sort of internal strife going on in the poll. I don't know what's happening here, but
Scalakitty, I'm sorry.
we'll have to see. All right. So
What are we up to?
We have. Let's just see the results here. All right. With 35% of the vote, a slight miswire accidentally has them tap into a channel for contacting the mothership, causing Beige to miss a message that he can finally go home. Oh no. 21% says the cables are improperly made, causing bees at Desert Bus like actual literal bees in a big never-ending swarm.
Make sure to trap the queen inside before you crimp.
18% says Ian makes cables, just all of them. 12% says username deals with the pretender who made another straw poll. This is
Whoa.
there's something behind the scenes happening here. They just keep making cables for all eternity, creating a BNC singularity for 7%.
A B in singularity.
The Naomi gets a small cut on the hand, confusing everyone. And username's new mattress he got today is secretly filled with sharks. I don't know how that was a way that that you could hurt yourself on Tinker Tailor, but
Yeah, I'm
I
not
wasn't.
sure.
I wasn't even sure that these were for injuries, just in case of what's going to happen.
It's always an injury expected.
Well, too bad.
and it's we have coming up tomorrow. We have some New Day Tuesday with, I believe, Adam is going to be playing the new Capcom versus Marvel Infinity
Relevant.
in the evening, and I believe. Let me just quickly double check.
Adam will not need a kick harness. Maybe a dance belt.
I don't have to.
No.
I don't have to harness Adam up. No. Good.
He will be playing that on a normal machine, not on this thing.
I believe there might be something else going on during the day on New Day Tuesday. It just depends on. We've got a bunch of other stuff that we have to do tomorrow, so it depends on what else gets done. But keep an eye on the normal channels for that. But there will definitely be an Adam playing Capcom versus Marvel in the evening.
At the very least, that's your promise.
And then on Wednesday, we have James doing 9 o'clock in the morning, where I believe he's going to be playing a chat-generated
Mod pack.
mod
Whoa,
pack, which is
that
boy.
sounds dangerous.
interesting and also dangerous idea. We've got a watch and play with Ben, I think, might be providing some entertainment for that.
There are some things that that actually reminds me I have to spend some time in that studio because I need to. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I just some of the stuff I couldn't get working last time. I need to install a virtual machine with like Windows 98 on it.
Ooh, I look
So
forward to this.
yeah, I mean I've told Alex that much, but I haven't actually told him the handful of games that are already waiting for him.
If you haven't seen Watch and Play yet, this is definitely one to tune in for.
Well, I mean, in fairness, this is like stuff I couldn't get working from the last list that I had, but so I won't have as much, but there's at least one that is nightmarish, and yeah. Anyway,
And then in the evening on Wednesday, we have the Dune dice game.
Yes.
oh yeah, the
Yes.
dice must flow.
The dice
Actually,
must flow,
I think I have that right here.
which I believe we're going to be getting 6 people to play.
Ooh, that's attractive.
Yeah, the I should just, yeah, if we're gonna,
Might get a bit tight.
yeah, I'll show you that, and then
That's real good.
yeah.
So minimal.
Yeah, they did a couple of really nice, like really lovely print and play editions, and then those went away. So apparently these are kind of
Ooh.
rare. But I'll pop out the cards for the.
Yeah,
It
these.
gives the whole game away, obviously.
No. I mean it doesn't. But like you can just, I really love the designs for like Bene Gesserit, the Atreides, the House Carino. The Tlilax are like my favorite because I mean, if you know them from Dune, then the DNA helix that is snakes is just mwah,
On point.
perfect. But yeah, so and then like the Fremen with the
Rah-rah.
Yeah, which is the sandworm. Yeah.
Chong.
Yep. That's not what I thought you said for a second, and I was really concerned. But yeah, so it's got a really lovely kind of clean design to it, and I'm excited to play it. And it does seem like everyone says 6 is kind of the optimal, and I suspect that's because you can get the lilacs into the game. Face dancers, man, face dancers.
First pick.
Oh God.
I think we're gonna have to draft
Yeah, probably.
people.
It'll be so nasty.
Right.
So anyway, that's happening tomorrow night. No,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday
Sorry,
night.
Wednesday night.
On an AFK version of
Yes.
Yes.
Wednesday
and
nights.
reminder, that's the new Wednesday night is AFK and some CTS, and then also we obviously have a bunch of other stuff happening. But I will tell you that the plan is for this Friday to be doing the Commander 2017 decks for our live Magic game, and the plan also is to be doing Loading Ready Live this weekend, which I'm very excited about. Our inaugural Loading Ready Live in the new moon base.
I'll get to watch that.
I say that's the plan because there are a few things that need to be done before that will be possible, but I am confident that those things will be done.
Wait, are those things cabling? Because
Uh,
I wasn't able to get them all done.
Well, we've got another 2 or 3 hours where we gotta go to bed, right?
God damn it.
Oh.
But anyway, that should be super cool. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you in a fortnight. Ever forward.